I will break you, Batman. Hey, hey, Wolfpack, we're back with another surprise tier list. This time we're ranking all the mass luchadores known as Bane. Yep, we're talking about another Batman villain and all the different adaptations and variants he's had over the years in many visual mediums. This time we're doing Bane. Bane, one of the S-tier Batman villains, a classic. Everyone knows who this guy is. He's the villain who broke Batman's back and has appeared in a lot of great media and some questionable media. Making sure all my equipment works. Okay, yeah, looks like it did. Sorry for blowing out your ears. Now is not the time for bad impressions. That comes later. Yeah, can't wait to hear all the Tom Hardy quotes in the chat and comments. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Bane. Bane is one of the popular villains of Batman. I will warn you that Bane is not one of my top villains. In fact, I never really liked him all that much. I have grown to appreciate some variations of him, so this is going to be kind of like the Harley Quinn tier. This is a villain I'm not super in love with, but I will openly admit that he's had a lot of great adaptations, great appearances, and fun redesigns in many media. I'll be ranking every adaptation of Bane up here on this tier list, from top best to bottom worst. Now, Bane is an interesting character. He's been done dirty in a lot of media, so this is going to be a kind of interesting tier list. He has had good versions too. I know everyone's looking forward to the Tom Hardy Bane, and all the wacky quotes and impressions he has. Best and worst Batman villains. Want to see that on a tier list? No one cared who I was till I put on the mask. Yeah, I can't wait for all your Bane quotes, and Tom Hardy's especially going to be an interesting one to talk about. So, let me go over the rules if this is your first tier list ever. I'm going to be ranking every interpretation of Bane, yes, even the games and Teen Titans Go version, up here on this tier list from top best to bottom worst. And I did give Bane his own unique slots for who's good and who's bad and who's broken. So, up top, we have I am Bane. These ones, the best, the 10 out of 10s, the S-tier Banes, the greatest interpretations of him, the ones we all know and love, and I would definitely say are Bane's best interpretations ever. These ones are the top luchador champions. Then, next is I Broke the Bat. These ones, good, not great. Had a lot of good elements going for them, a lot of high praises. They're definitely A tier, A pluses, 8 or 9 out of 10 characters. The Banes I think did good, but I might have some issues with them. A nitpick, a flaw, a scratch on their record. Yeah, basically almost perfect, but still pretty good overall. Then, next is I Broke the Man. These ones, okay Banes, decent, they did their job, they're fine, they're whatever. We might be seeing more cameo Banes or Banes that didn't have much screen time down here, but basically kind of B or C tier level Banes. They were alright luchadores. Next is Bane Must Train. These ones, weak Banes. They were weak ducks, the lame ones. The ones that didn't quite make it could have amounted to something great, but kind of disappointed me by the end. Basically a D tier Bane. Almost good, but also not bad enough to be the worst one. Then we have Bane Who? These ones are for characters I don't recognize. I never watched the media they're in. I don't know anything about them. Not much to say on them. Basically Banes I do not know of. But at rock bottom, we have I Break You. These Banes, the awful ones, the 0 out of 10s, the worst of the worst, and I think you all know who's gonna be ending up down here. Yeah, hi, Batman and Robin Bane. Yeah, you get the idea. F-tier Banes, the weakest luchadores, a disgrace to the name Bane. Bane this time, I see. Yep, we're gonna be doing Bane. Fun fact, the original Harley Quinn died. Arlene Sorkin? Yeah, I know she died. That was like years ago. My brother Wolf did a video dedicated to her. I believe he reviewed the episode where Joker had the bomb and they needed Harley Quinn. Yeah, Harley Quinnade. That was the episode. Yeah, I know Arlene Sorkin's been dead. She's been dead for like 2 years now, man. Okay, so gonna be talking about all the Banes. Who is Bane? Bane is not just some dumb meathead as he's so often portrayed in a lot of weaker interpretations. Bane is one of Batman's most challenging foes. He is peak physical perfection, peak mental perfection, very atop of his game, kind of the anti-Batman. He's trained his entire life since childhood to be the ultimate warrior. Bane has a mysterious past. He was, I believe, a kid in prison. He trained himself, mastered his mental prowess, basically kind of trained himself to be exactly like Batman, a ultimate warrior. However, Bane's not afraid to kill. He has killed to survive. He has fought dirty. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty and bloodied in fights. Bane subjected himself to an experimental procedure to make super soldiers, which attached him and got him addicted to venom. They gave him the venom drug, and it's basically a super steroid. It turns Bane into the Incredible Hulk. He's super jacked, much stronger than ever, and depending on the interpretation, very unstable once he's addicted to the venom. Bane is the man who broke Batman's back. That's what everyone knows him for. He fought Batman in the legendary story Nightfall. Batman gets his back broken, and Batman needs like a replacement to fill in the void because crime in Gotham will skyrocket, and he needs to train to fight against Bane again. This story also introduced Azrael, but Azrael did not catch on like Bane did. Bane was a Batman villain that made history because he actually seriously injured the hero, and he's been riding that horse all the way to present day. Who will win a fight, Bane or Raphael from TMNT? Ooh, that is kind of hard. I might have to go with Bane because he's a lot more stable than Raphael. Raphael is cool but rude. Hey, Cat, another tier list in 2 days. Oh, Cat, you're spoiling us greatly. Yeah, I wanted to make up for lost time since I took forever to make a Power Rangers top 10 and then that Simpsons top 10. So I decided, hey, why not? Let's do Bane. We had so much fun with Mr. Freeze. Let's do the other character Batman and Robin ruined. But yeah, I got a lot of good interpretations of Bane. A lot of interesting variants. Some have more screen time than others. Some are peak performance. And some are total letdowns. Yes, Batman and Robin Bane is down here on low. We'll get to him soon, but honestly, I never really loved Bane. Bane, I thought, was an interesting villain, but I felt he was kind of generic. He's a guy in a mask. He's supposed to be kind of the anti-Batman, and it does not help that I grew up with a lot of the dumb muscle Bane. Bane is usually done dirty in a lot of media, especially Batman and Robin. A lot of people mistake Bane as this stupid meathead who is just a brute that likes to destroy stuff, that he's addicted to the venom, and is basically a minion working for the real Batman villains. Yeah, he worked for Ivy, he worked for Joker, he worked for Hugo Strange, he works for a lot of other top tier Batman villains in a lot of the cartoons. However, over the years we finally got good interpretations of Bane, Dark Knight Rises being one of them, and especially Arkham Origins. I think Arkham Origins has a great Bane. They did a lot of characters great in the Arkhamverse and the Nolanverse, but we'll talk about those when we get there. Bane is a character who I kind of feel like I have the same feelings for Bane as Harley Quinn. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I do like some variants and interpretations of him. Bane is a hard character to impress me, so we'll see which ones make it up to S tier and which I still have hateful feelings towards or very mediocre feelings towards. But yeah, let's finally talk about the powerhouse, the masked luchador terrorist Bane. I definitely liked more versions of Bane than others, but yeah, he's far from one of my favorites. Yeah, Bane's not in my top 10 favorite Batman villains. He might make an honorable mentions, but I prefer characters like Catwoman, of course, the Joker, Scarecrow. Scarecrow's one of my favorite villains. I love Two-Face a lot more. His design is really cool. The Riddler is a ton of fun. Bane is a lot more serious. He's a very no-nonsense type of villain. Again, he's the one who does the anti-Batman thing the most. He's a dark, brooding, very might makes right type of villain, always thinking with his fists. He does have strategic master plans and is a serious threat towards the Dark Knight, but just never been one of my top faves. I like the villains who are hammy and in the spotlight. You ought to do tier list for the Penguin from DC. You haven't done that yet because I haven't watched Colin Farrell's Penguin show. I do have to see that show to see how his Penguin fared out. My personal favorite character in Batman's Rogues Gallery. Okay, Christopher, glad you liked him. How's everyone doing today? I'm okay. AV Scorpio, we're fine, having fun. Gonna be talking about Bane. Decided to do this tier list early because I have some chores to do at the end of the day. So I'm gonna do this now. So with that out of the way, let's finally start riding the Bane train. We gotta start with the first ever adaptation of Bane, which wasn't Batman and Robin. It was actually Batman the Animated Series. Henry Silva's Bane. And this Bane... gonna put onto I broke the man. Yeah, sorry, animated series fans. So, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm's cartoon is amazing. They've had a lot of great interpretations of characters. Unfortunately, Bane is not one of them. Bane is alright. He's okay in the animated series. So, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm have openly proclaimed in interviews they do not like Bane. They were not fans of Bane. They only incorporated him into the cartoon because they had to. Nightfall was a huge deal back then. It was like breaking records, selling out, made comic book history, and of course the execs at Warner Brothers demanded they incorporate Bane, the big character in the comic, into the cartoon. Paul Dini and Bruce Timm were very reluctant but begrudgingly gave in and gave Bane one and only one episode in the original cartoon. Yeah, he does come back in the DCAU like everyone else, but he got a redesign. He only appeared in one episode. Henry Silva portrays Bane, and he's fine. He's kind of this professional assassin. We find out he's like a super soldier or something. It's a basic introduction to Bane and introducing Batman to like his first threat. Rupert Thorne is actually the main villain in this, and he hires Bane to be the assassin to finally take out the Bat. Bane has like a romance with Rupert Thorne's right-hand woman Candace, and Candace like goes total Starscream and wants Bane to betray Rupert Thorne and take over. It's actually a pretty good episode, very decent. Batman has to fight somebody who's literally physically stronger than him. We learn about the Venom. We see Bane in action. Bane actually kicks Killer Croc's ass at one point, just to demonstrate how stronger he is. But I thought the episode was fine. Paul Dini and Bruce Timm felt that Bane was too gimmicky, and they couldn't explore him in depth like the other villains, which is why he doesn't appear too often in the animated series. Came back in Batman Beyond, he does. He comes back in the Red Sky Season 2, and I think it got a much better design. This Bane, hired to kill the Batman, he's defeated in kind of a horrifying way. Batman realizes that he's addicted to the Venom drug. He has the pack tied to his back and his wrist, literally, and Batman actually forces him to overdose on Venom. We see like his eyes bulging, he's freaking out, he's tripping on the drug. Really gruesome scene, honestly. Bane like overdoses and he's forced to cut off his tube basically because it'll kill him. He loses his strength and Batman kicks his ass, and Batman rubs it in Rupert Thorne's face that he failed and exposes that Candace is a total Starscream planning to betray him, and Rupert Thorne is last seen pissed at her, and we never see Candace ever again, so it's implied he killed her because she tried to betray him. Really funny, dark ending, honestly. But yeah, Batman learns that brains are better than brawn in this episode, that basic lesson, which we'll see repeated in a lot of Bane stories. Henry Silva, I think, does a fine job. He tries to do like this suave Hispanic guy. He's like a James Bond villain. He's a hired assassin, hired merc. It's kind of a basic Bane, though. He has a cool design, a really epic defeat, but honestly, he's going on to the middle tier. I broke the man. He became Mad Max, especially with the bulging eyes. I think you mean, that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Total Recall, when he's, like, on Mars and exposed to the surface. Yeah. To their credit, they do make him look like the comic character, but all of the animated series characters look like the comic character. This Bane going on to the mid-tier. Unfortunately, he did get a better episode. We have the Red Sky, the BDSM Bane. This Bane actually will put up higher onto I Broke the Bat. So Bane reappears in the Red Sky season, technically. Where'd it go? There we go. Here we go. Yeah, this Bane, the BDSM Bane, they gave him a new mask and a weird collar. He looks like he's from a BDSM show. But yeah, Bane reappears in the episode Over the Edge, one of the greatest Batman episodes, by the way. So this is the infamous episode where Barbara is killed by the Scarecrow, and Commissioner Gordon finds out Bruce Wayne is the Batman. He finds out that his daughter was Batgirl, realizes that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and leads an entire manhunt to arrest the Dark Knight. It is a really badass, epic episode, though if you know the show, it does have a cop-out twist ending. Yeah, it was all just a dream. But Bane reappears finally after years of not being on the show. So, get this, Gordon becomes so unhinged at trying to arrest Batman that he grants Bane a full pardon from prison in exchange for killing the Dark Knight. Yes, Bane is pardoned from prison and working with Commissioner Gordon to kill the Batman. And big shock, giving a full pardon to Bane was a stupid idea because Bane completely betrays him. Bane decides that he doesn't want to capture Batman, he wants to kill him. This is a total revenge scheme. Bane almost succeeds at killing the Dark Knight, and it's one of the most brutal fights in the entire show. Bane gets brutally beaten, Batman gets brutally beaten, the Dark Knight has lost everyone and everything, and it doesn't even matter if he kills Bane anymore. Bane actually dies in this too. Like, Batman severs the Venom tube and shocks him on the broken bat signal, electrocuting him to death. But Bane gets a final badass moment where Batman and Commissioner Gordon try to save each other from falling over the edge, and Bane uses the last of his strength to kill the Dark Knight and the Commissioner. Who's the better thief, Catwoman or Rogue the Bat? Catwoman, definitely. She robbed from impenetrable fortresses. Came back in Batman Beyond. Yeah, he did. Nostalgia critic. Problematic. Shane Bane was underutilized in Batman the Animated Series, but still made a good impression. Yeah, I would say the redesigned Bane was honestly pretty interesting. I like that he is like a final boss for Batman, but Bruce is like at the end of his rope, and he gives Bane the final fight that they deserved. They did give him a much better episode. Unfortunately, this would be the last time we see Bane in good physical performance. He does make a cameo in the Superman animated series. When Bruce Wayne goes missing, there's no Batman, and all the villains are like forming alliances, and Superman poses as the Dark Knight to help clean up Gotham. Will is searching for Bruce, and I love that Bane tries to fight Batman and is completely shocked by his strength because it's really Superman. There's something really funny about how Batman's villains get completely baffled and dumbfounded by Superman's powers being used by the Dark Knight. Yeah, Bane gets a well-deserved beating in this. Unfortunately, we would not see him again until Batman Beyond, and it turns out he completely lost his mind, lost his physical perfection, and became an old man on life support because of the years of substance abuse. Yeah, the Venom completely drained Bane, and he's now an old man on life support being cared for at his mansion. I believe his assistant, his doctor, is like treating him, but also partaking in selling the Venom drug for a whole new generation, and it becomes a fun Batman Beyond mystery episode. But yeah, that's kind of how Bane ends his tenure on the DCAU. He's now a pathetic, frail old man on life support from years of overdosing on steroids, which is very sad, but kind of well-deserved because Bane is a villain. But I'll put DCAU Bane, the second one at least, on the A tier. Yeah, so Bane left a good impression, but he was horribly underutilized by the DCAU. Again, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm were not huge fans of the character, and that really shows here and later in the Arkhamverse. Paul Dini also did not care for Bane. But yeah, I'll put this one on I Broke the Bat. Sorry, I don't have the frail old man Bane anyway, but yeah, he's kind of the same guy anyway. Alright, so let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about Bane's next adaptation, which was his live-action adaptation, Batman and Robin Bane, the Artard Bane. Yeah, this guy. Going on to I Break You. My computer will ever load up. Come on. Sorry, some technical difficulties here, but yeah, Batman and Robin Bane, also not very good. Joel Schumacher had Bane appear in Batman and Robin, and he was also not very good. Gotta wait for the page now. Alright, so we'll talk about Batman and Robin Bane. Bane is not the great villain we know and love to hate on this show. He's actually kind of a henchman working for Poison Ivy. Yeah, there we go. Now we're finally loading up. Yeah, he's going on to I Break You. Yeah, was there really any doubt? This might be the worst interpretation of Bane ever. This Bane, completely cocked. He's a goon who works for Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. Bane is actually introduced fairly early in the story. We meet Bane as a test subject. Dr. Jason Woodrue is a corrupt mad scientist using Wayne Industries' money and Poison Ivy's plants to create Venom. Yeah, Venom comes from Ivy's mutant plants, and Bane is a former serial killer who's used as a test subject to make super soldiers, and he plans to sell them to like Middle Eastern terrorists, which is kind of funny, but also shows you how far gone Batman and Robin is in terms of lightheartedness. Bane goes from this weak, shrimpy little guy into the huge, jacked wrestler. I believe an actual wrestler does play Bane, but I don't remember who he is because he wears the mask all the time. Bane basically becomes Poison Ivy's pet simp. Poison Ivy gains her powers, kills Jason Woodrue, and because there's Venom in his system, I guess this makes him, like, obedient to Poison Ivy. Yeah, it makes him, like, kind of obedient to Poison Ivy. Ivy uses Bane as as her henchman, and basically, he's the beast to her beauty, and he's helping her commit crimes, basically acting really stupid, and a lot of fans do not like this Bane, for very understandable reasons. Bane is one of the most intelligent and deadly Batman foes ever. Batman and Robin turns him into kind of a goofy clown. He's dumb. He only speaks in like small words, acts like the Incredible Hulk. Exit, Bane. Exit! And he's always like screaming, yowling, and fighting Batman with brute force, basically. Poison Ivy doesn't do any actual fighting. She has Bane as basically her bodyguard. To sum up this Bane, Bane! I'm Bane! Hear my gravelly voice and be a dumb brute. Yeah, all Bane does is shout. Kind of like Christopher Walken, but less funny. Yeah, Bane is kind of just the stupid brute. He works for Mr. Freeze and Ivy, and honestly, if this was the actual Bane, a team up between these three villains would have been so cool. But unfortunately, as we all know, Batman and Robin was a lot more goofy and lighthearted. He gets taken out by a noob Batgirl. Yeah, that is how pathetic Bane is. It's not even Batman who beats him up. It is Batgirl. Bane ambushes the sidekicks, Batgirl and Robin, and Batgirl breaks his stupid tube, and it turns him back into Shrimpy Bane. And I believe he might die because the lair is like collapsing and he gets crushed. But yeah, Bane's taken out by a newbie Batgirl. This is the guy who broke Batman's back. Yeah, this is easily the worst Bane we ever had. We might be proven wrong eventually later, but for now, he's going on I Break You. Hey, Kat, so we started off with the worst, right? Because we all know the worst. You missed us talk about the animated series, Banes. Dang, this page keeps wanting me to wait for it to load up. Sorry, I just catch up on comments while we wait. Shane Bane, yeah, was underutilized. My favorite moment of the episode, Bruce. Be careful, Terry, he was a formidable opponent. Come on, he's got to be like 100 years old. What good can an old geezer? Never mind. Yeah, that was a funny exchange. Absolutely no thank you with this Bane, what a waste. Hey Cat, hey Light Jones. Yeah, we actually started off with the animated series Banes. We bumped off Batman and Robin Bane, who sucks. This Bane was like a drooling moron. He served Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze and was basically their elite henchman. That is not a good interpretation of Bane. The only attribute from this Bane is that he knows how to drive. Yeah, Bane can be Ivy's personal chauffeur. Yeah, he was kind of Ivy's, like, pet simp. He was like a useful brute she manipulated, and Bane was only here to have another comic book villain. Like, let's be real, they just wanted to have as many Batman characters as possible. And just like all the villains in Batman and Robin, Bane is one-shotted despite being hyped up as being a huge threat. Yeah. Robert Swenson plays him in Batman and Robin. Look it up. Okay, that was him. Just stick with the Dark Knight Rises Bane, best live-action Bane ever. Hell, even Gotham Bane is more better than Bane in Batman and Robin. Yeah, he was. Okay, so I guess we should finally bump off the Bane you all want to talk about. Let's do it. Let's talk about Tom Hardy's Bane. Tom Hardy from The Dark Knight Rises. So, after Batman and Robin bombed, surprise, the studio was afraid to incorporate Bane into a theatrical release ever again until Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight saga came along and made a lot of money. And Christopher Nolan was able to convince the studio to allow him to use Bane as the final boss. And Tom Hardy's Bane, gonna upset some people, but going on to I broke the bat. Yeah, if my computer loads up. Man, this has never happened on the tier stream before, but whatever. I guess I have a lot of programs. Okay, so as we wait for my computer to load. Come on, get in there. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's happening. This has, like, never happened before. Yeah, up a peg. I'll put him in front of animated series Bane, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of The Dark Knight Rises. I think it's a very underwhelming movie, way too long, and kind of a lackluster follow-up to The Great Dark Knight. But Bane honestly isn't too bad, so long as you can actually hear his voice. Yeah, we're talking about Tom Hardy's Bane. Bane was the final boss of the Dark Knight saga, except not really. It turned out to be Talia al Ghul, which is why he's not onto S tier. Yeah, and another awful twist, Bane is not really the real villain. He's Talia al Ghul's pet attack dog, and that's kind of why he's not onto S tier, which is a real shame because The Dark Knight Rises did a lot of great stuff with this Bane. Bane has been completely redeemed by this movie because he's dark, deadly, serious, and breaks the Batman's back on screen. Yeah, we finally see Batman get his back broken. Christian Bale's Batman gets beaten the heck out of by Tom Hardy's Bane. You fight in the shadows, but me, I was born in the dark. Yeah, and that's the reason why he's not on S tier also, that infamously horrible voice. Yeah, to this day, Tom Hardy's Bane voice is often memed and joked about as much as Christian Bale's Batman voice. Hey, Jon Snow, you made it. What about Bane from the Arkham games? We'll get to him eventually. We got, like, a whole bunch of Banes to work with. But we're knocking off Tom Hardy's Bane, because everyone wants to hear what I have to say about this guy. Just stick with the Dark Knight Rises Bane. Yeah, a lot of people like this Bane. Peak live-action Bane. Hard to believe this is the same guy in the Venom trilogy. Yeah, Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock. Debatable on whether he's good or not. What about Bane from the Arkham games? We'll get to them all eventually. Hey, Jon Snow, glad you made it. Here's the thing. I won't deny Tom Hardy's Bane was the best part of The Dark Knight Rises. He got shit done. He was a threat throughout most of the movie and very quotable. Unfortunately, he got ruined by not being the true villain and got an anticlimactic death. Yeah, that's the thing too. Bane's not really the real villain. Bane's set up like he's the ultimate final boss of the Dark Knight saga, and they do a really cool job at it. Unfortunately, Nolan did too good a job at hyping up Bane, because a lot of people hate this part of the movie, the twist. Bane's not the actual ringleader, it's Talia al Ghul. Talia was like posing as a Wayne Industries board member, had like a romance with Christian Bale's Batman, and in a twist it turns out she's the daughter of Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul. She wants to destroy Gotham and avenge the death of her father, and Bane was just a figurehead. And in a really bizarre, creepy twist, Bane and Talia are actually lovers. Yeah, Bane and Talia are actually a couple in this movie, and Bane went to the pit prison because he fell in love with, like, Ra's al Ghul's daughter. His only crime was that he loved too much. That made me cringe. I cannot believe Christopher Nolan wrote that. Yeah, Bane is really Talia's attack dog, and just to rub more salt in the wounds, he dies anticlimactically. How does the great final boss of The Dark Knight Rises go out? Catwoman shows up to save Batman by just shooting him. Yeah, Catwoman uses the Bat Cycle to shoot Bane, and that's what kills him. All this buildup and all this great fight scenes between Batman and Bane, and he's just shot by the Bat Cycle. That is how Bane goes out in this movie. Really lame. It's why he's not going on to S tier. I know a lot of people love this villain, but come on. Is that how you wanted him to go out in the finale? Was he supposed to be like British or something? Like I didn't understand Tom Hardy's voice? Yeah, that's another thing. The voice is really goofy. Apparently, they had to do a lot of extensive ADR and redubbing because nobody could understand him with the mask. The mask, like, blocked him out. I believe he's supposed to be a Middle Eastern version of Bane. Yeah, he clearly is a white guy in this version, not Hispanic, but yeah. They gave him, like, a weird accent. Apparently he sounds like Sean Connery. Tom Hardy said tried to go for an impression of, like, a British announcer or something, but it made him sound really goofy. And yeah, that voice is pretty bad. I think it's actually worse than Christian Bale's Batman voice. I am Bane. Gotham's reckoning is coming. I was born in the dark. You cannot defeat me, Batman. It sounds really ridiculous and goofy, and I saw this movie in theaters, and I could only understand half of what he said because it was that hard to hear. Yeah, he's very quotable in this movie. Unfortunately, I was not happy with the writing, so I will give credit. I liked Bane a lot more than Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. I went into this movie expecting Catwoman to be the best part and Bane the weakest, but no, instead the opposite happened. I thought Anne Hathaway's Catwoman was the worst part of the movie, and Bane, ironically, was the best part. Yeah, it really shocked me. This Bane kind of reminded me of Destro. He is a full-blown terrorist in this. He's trying to destroy Gotham, deposing of the rich and elite, causing chaos, and yes, they do turn Gotham City into a no-man's land. Bane, to his credit, successfully conquers the city, takes over Gotham, all the rich are running, everybody's rioting, all the cops are like sealed in the tunnels, and he does have a final epic showdown with the Batman, but Batman kind of anticlimactically beats him too by punching him in the face mask. Which, when you really think about it, he should have done at the start, but yeah. The face mask, he wears this because it's like a breathing system. Bane was like mauled in prison, and it was so bad that he needs this mask that injects painkillers and helps him speak now. It's a cool idea, unfortunately made him hard to hear. Voice parody of the Harley Quinn series. Yeah, there's a lot of parodies of Tom Hardy's infamous voice. Let's have Tom Hardy's Bane fight Tom Hardy's Venom. Agree, Shadowlink. His most iconic moment was, what else breaking the bat? I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body? Yeah, he breaks Batman's back on screen, and I thought it was a pretty fine scene. Yeah, Tom Hardy actually beats the daylights out of Batman, though the one thing I didn't like is it was kind of hard to see, too. It's like in the shadows and in a dark room. It turns out Bane's base was literally right under Wayne Industries. Not sure how he never found that, but yeah. Not gonna lie, Mr. E from Mystery Inc. looks like a character from the Arkham or Gotham show. If he was, would he have probably be a neutral or something? Yeah, I could see him being a chaotic neutral character. Not only that, doesn't he also inject other people's blood? Yeah, that was a weird scene too. He took like the doctor's blood and injected it into a corpse to basically fake his death and pretend the doctor was a casualty on the plane. The plane scene I thought was pretty fine, though the weird blood extraction scene kind of weirded me out. Like, was that really necessary? Yeah, he abducts a Russian doctor. The Russian doctor built a giant nuke for them. And you are the only one who can disarm the bomb, right? That's right. And Bane, neck snaps him in front of an entire crowd of people. Bane attacking the football stadium, telling them that Gotham is his now, and if they try to leave or if the government does anything, he'll nuke the entire city. But we find out he was gonna nuke it anyway because he's really serving Talia al Ghul. Yeah, Bane was Talia's lover. They met in the pit, they met in prison, and Bane, sacrificed himself to help Talia break out. It leads to a really dumb twist. We learn that only one person ever escaped the pit, and we're led to believe it was Bane, but no, it was his girlfriend Talia. And kind of weird, there's also a huge age difference. Tom Hardy's Bane looks like he's 40 in the flashback, and we see Joey King as Talia al Ghul. She's 8 years old. Yeah, really weird, but whatever. He saved Talia. Talia went back using her League of Assassins connections to save him and rebuilt him into her ultimate warrior. And a lot of people do not like this twist, that Talia was the mastermind all along, and it's interconnecting with the Ra's al Ghul plot from Batman Begins. It's honestly kind of convoluted and ridiculous, even for a Batman movie. Did it explain how he was so strong, or was he just stronger than the Batman and not the strongest human being? I believe he lifted in prison, he worked out a lot, he tried to escape the pit but failed, he was eventually trained by Talia and her League of Assassins, they gave him the same Batman training, but Bane has been fighting for his life since he was literally born in prison. Dark Knight Rises came out when I was graduating high school. Ah, did you like it then, Christopher? Wasn't Talia 13 in the pit? She looked a lot younger. She looked like she was 8 years old, and Tom Hardy was the same age apparently in the flashbacks, but yeah, we find out Bane got his brutal mask because he was mauled in the pit, and somehow they rebuilt him. Talia went back for him, had Daddy Ra's al Ghul spring him out, then he fell in love with Talia, was exiled, but then came back when Ra's al Ghul died in Batman Begins. And honestly, I think Tom Hardy's Bane almost good, but very far for me. He did not look a whole lot like Bane. His writing was good. He was very quotable. He kicked ass. His fight scene with Batman is easily the highlight of his character. Has a lot of cool fights. Unfortunately, we find out he's not even the real villain, and he goes out like a punk, which is why he loses points. And yes, the voice is really silly. He sounds goofy. He sounds ridiculous. And all these years later, he's still being parodied. Though, I'll give Tom Hardy credit, he definitely did a lot of good for Bane than bad, so I'll put him onto I broke the bat. Wasn't Talia 13 in the pits? She looked younger, okay, man? She looked younger. Okay, so I know we should probably save the Arkhamverse Bane for last, but we'll knock out a different Bane. I suppose we should knock off Teen Titans Go Banes, both of which are going on to I Break You. If my computer will ever load up. Yeah, sorry, not sure why this problem is happening. It never happened before. Yeah, I'll just put both Teen Titans Go Banes down here. It's Teen Titans Go. Did you expect any character to be good on this show? Bane appears on Teen Titans Go and Teen Titans Go to the movies, and it's a cameo. It's just cameos, but Teen Titans Go sucks, so I'm putting him on I Break You. But I might put Batman and Robin Bane down lower if I didn't hate Teen Titans Go so much. Alright, yeah. Okay, so next I think we should also knock out the Batman Bane. Yeah, the infamous Red Hulk Bane. So the Batman had Bane appear in, I believe, the second or third episode. Bane is once again a hired mercenary. The mob is losing to the Batman and is very scared, so they hire a man in a mask to terminate their bat problem. Bane is awesome in the first episode, and unfortunately that's about it. He's going on to Bane Must Train. This Bane, talk about disappointing. He started out so cool, he was badass, mysterious, and he almost breaks the bat in his debut episode. His first episode, Traction, easily the highlight of this Bane. Then after that, he kind of becomes a joke. He's a jobber, he's a clown, he's a minion serving every other Batman villain. Well, of course, Teen Titans Go would both be bottom tier. Yeah, this Bane was a big letdown. I wanted to love this Bane so badly because the Batman is a cool show. It is underrated, it is good, it is kick-ass. Unfortunately, their Bane was a massive disappointment. He had one good episode, then he has a downward spiral and everything else. Bane almost beats the Batman. Batman builds the iron suit, the big bat mech to fight him, and is able to defeat the Bane and cut off his venom tube, basically. Then He's kind of just a stupid, dumb muscle. He's a mindless brute. He robs banks. He works for other villains, hires himself out as a merc to everyone else. He works for the Penguin. He gets his Venom tube stolen by the Joker. Ironically, in an episode that would inspire the Titan plot from Arkham Asylum. Then he works for Lex Luthor, then Black Mask, and yeah, this Bane, really disappointing. He's just a dumb muscle, mindless brute. They try to make him feel like a big character, but ultimately ended up kind of disappointing. This is like the one villain the Batman really stopped caring about. He might be the most forgettable and unlikable villain in the entire series. I believe they got a guest star to voice him in the first episode. Then it's Ron Perlman in future appearances where all he does is mindless grunts. I guess Bane broke the site. Tom Holland playing did not look like Bane at all. Yeah, he didn't. Well, I did hear he got like 100 pounds of muscle to look like the role. Unfortunately, they didn't give him his weird mask. Went to see this in theaters as well. It was okay, not as good as The Dark Knight, but a nice conclusion, until they wanted to continue it somehow with the kid actor from Angels in the Outfield. Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Robin, and he's gonna become the new Dark Knight in a sequel that never happened. Yeah, Tom Hardy did not look like Bane. Tom Holland. I called it. Is also made worse the simple fact that he most likely was Middle Eastern, but he sounds like a British man playing him. Yeah, Bane was one of the characters infamously whitewashed. I didn't mind too much since Tom Hardy got in shape for the role and tried to be like the iconic villain. Unfortunately, the writing is what I hated more. He's supposed to be Middle Eastern, talks with a British accent, but a lot of people were pissed because Bane is actually a Hispanic villain, and a lot of people felt like they were whitewashing a character. I was okay with Tom Hardy, but I could see the point. I wanted a comic-accurate Bane, too. This Bane was a big letdown, absolutely. Teen Titans Go is the worst thing to ever exist in a simple fact. That they never canceled the show with the negative reception really spelled doomsday for Cartoon Network. Yeah, all they play is Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go ruined my teenage years. I tried to get into Teen Titans Go. I did watch the first few episodes, and yeah, I could see why everyone hated it. It was stupid, it's juvenile, and it's very unfunny. And there's a lot of jokes where they attack the haters and attack the fans for not liking the show, which just reeks of immaturity. I think this Bane was Russian, probably. The Batman, great series. Bane, not so much. He gets taken down easy by Robin. Yeah, Robin and Batgirl also beat him with zero effort. That's how much this Bane sucks. This Bane must train. He wins a point because he had one good episode, but that's about it. Also bump off Public Enemy's Bane. It's just a cameo. He's going on to I Broke the Man. Yeah, this is the Bane from Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. He's one of the villains who shows up in like a crowd shot. Lex Luthor declares $1 million bounty on Batman and Superman's heads, and a whole bunch of supervillains show up to try and collect it. Bane is in one of the crowd shots and he gets taken out by Batman. It's a fun cameo seeing all these villains pop up just to kill the Batman and the Man of Steel. But yeah, just a cameo, going on to mid-tier. Yet, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies is a great movie. Unfortunately, Bane is just one of the many characters who makes a brief appearance. Agree, Light Jones, but it ruined my 20s for the 2010s. Alright, speaking of cameos, also Batman the Brave and the Bold Bane, who is also going on to I Broke the Man. Just gotta wait for my computer to... where'd he go? There he is. Yeah, going on to I Broke the Man. We'll put him above Public Enemy's Bane. This is the Brave and the Bold Bane. He has a few appearances, but he's never a main villain. Believe it or not, they got Michael Dorn to voice Bane. I don't know why, because he doesn't have any lines. It's all a bunch of grunts and screams. He shows up in the cold open where we see Batman and Wildcat working together. Batman tells Wildcat, I need you to help take down this super special target. Batman easily beats this shrimpy guy up and catches him with a batarang, and Wildcat is of course taunting and provoking him, saying, what, You needed my help to scrap this little wimp? Why, he couldn't hurt a fly. Then we get the big reveal that it's Bane. He like supersizes with the venom and gives Batman and Wildcat a real fight. And Wildcat says, see, I told you he wasn't a threat. Yeah, still bragging that, yeah, he could take Bane. Then he, I believe, shows up in another cameo where all the different heroes are trying to protect Gotham City, and Bane is with all the strong villains. He works with Blockbuster, Killer Croc, and Solomon Grundy to steal a statue. They're taken down by, I believe, the Shazam impersonating Batman, and he makes one last cameo in Scooby-Doo meets Batman the Brave and the Bold. Hilariously, Bane and Blockbuster are completely fooled by a Shaggy and Scooby disguise. Yeah, that's his final appearance, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, I think he's alright. We'll put him on to mid-tier. I broke the man. I always wondered what's Lex Luthor's deal with Superman. Superman is everything Luthor wants to be. A man who's greatly empowered, has a lot of superpowers at his fingertips, can do anything he wants, and is admired by all. And Luthor had to work his way up to the top, had to gain everything, had to earn everything he ever wanted, and he sees Superman as an evil alien who's here to take away everything, but really he envies what he has. Alright, so next Bane, Justice League Action Bane, who is going on to I Will Break You. If my computer ever loads. Dang, come on. Alright, yeah, I'll put him down here. So, Justice League Action Bane appears in the theme song, and that's about it. Bane doesn't actually appear in the show, that's why he's going down here. He's built up like he was gonna be in Justice League Action. He's in the theme song with the Legion of Doom, fighting them, but he never appears. He never actually appears in the show. He never actually does anything. He doesn't even have a voice actor. He's in a theme song, and that's about it. If Justice League Action got future seasons and episodes, I believe we would have seen Bane actually debut and do something, but he doesn't. He's going on to I Will Break You because he never even appeared in the actual series. Alright, next, Batman Unlimited Bane, who I'm gonna put on to Bane who? Yeah, sorry, I have not watched the other Batman Unlimited movies. I might have to, because I have seen Animal Instinct, but that's the only one. I was curious to see Animal Instinct because it had a lot of my favorite characters, but have not seen the other Batman Unlimited titles, haven't seen the Halloween special, I probably should for the Scarecrow, and haven't seen Mutants versus Mechs or whatever. Yeah, Bane appears in it and never saw it, so he's gone on to Bane who. Okay, so who should we bump off next? Maybe we should get rid of Lego Bane. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, Lego Batman Bane. Bane is in the Lego Batman, and I love the Lego Batman. It's a fun title. It is a fun, kick-ass game. Bane is a part of the Penguins campaign. Yeah, sorry, still loading up. Yeah, Bane is a part of Penguins campaign, and he's their strong guy. So Bane, I will put onto... Yeah, I'll put him onto I Am Bane. Finally, our first S-tier Bane. Lego Batman is awesome, and they do all the characters justice just like the Arkham series. Bane is a teammate of Penguin's animal team, which I always felt was kind of weird because Bane's not an animal-themed supervillain. Penguin wants to enact his Batman Returns plan. He has a bunch of suicide bomber soldier penguins going around Gotham City and conquering the entire town for him and his legion of animal villains. Penguin's team has Catwoman, Man-Bat, Killer Croc, and Bane. Bane, I guess, his animal is supposed to be a bear because he's a big, strong brute. Sadly, Bane does not actually appear in the Batman side of the story. He appears in the villain side of the story, helping Penguin commit one of the missions to help his plan succeed. And Bane, really strong, he does the back-breaking move on Lego minions, is the one who can open a lot of strength areas. He can basically like activate these Legos that require a strong character to open up. He juices up on venom. He's also immune to toxins, so he can walk across the danger wasteland areas, which is a pretty cool idea. Unfortunately, Bane gets taken out by the police officers, and I do love that the GCPD has to tow his entire knocked out body across town. That is pretty funny. What do you think of Bane in the upcoming Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight? I haven't played that game yet. I'm looking forward to that. They're going to incorporate everything Batman. Looking forward to that game coming out. Yeah, me too. Really want to play that. I do see that they're going to use the Tom Hardy Bane, so that'll probably be funny. But back to Lego Bane, he's just as fun as everything else in that game. I do like Lego Bane a lot more than the usual Banes. He was way better than Arkham Asylum Bane, that's for sure, but we'll put him on to our first S tier. Seeing which, Lego Batman Bane. This Bane is a cross between his iconic comic look mixed with Tom Hardy. He's wearing the stupid jacket and talks in Tom Hardy's voice. He's another cameo going on to I Broke the Man. Yeah, sorry, a lot of mid-tier Banes. Bane appears in the Lego Batman movie. He's, what else, a part of the Joker's villain gang, because it has every Batman villain ever. He does the Tom Hardy voice, dresses a lot like Tom Hardy. They gave him the coat he had in The Dark Knight Rises. He, what else, gets trapped in the big Lego box by the Joker, is unlocked and freed by Batman for the final battle, and we see all of Batman's villains come together to stop the destruction of the Lego universe. It's, fun cameo, but that's really all he is. Just another cameo. They wanted to have every Batman character ever appear in this movie, and Bane is kind of just there playing his part in the villain scheme and in the hero's final fight. We'll put him on to mid-tier. I wonder what would happen if the bad guys team or the Crimson Paw from the DreamWorks The Bad Guys were in Gotham City. Would Batman be able to handle them? Yeah, he definitely would. I like Penguin's animal-themed characters. This Bane from Lego Supervillains, going on to Bane Who. Yeah, sorry, I haven't played the Lego Supervillains game yet. I know my friends are telling me it's so cool, it's so fun. It's fun playing as the Legion of Doom characters. I believe this is the Bane from the Lego Supervillains game. Haven't played it, so I can't really judge. He's going on to Bane Who. Alright, any more cameo Banes I can scrap? Getting those out of the way. Let's do DC Nation Bane. And I actually really enjoyed this Bane from Batman of Shanghai. This one going on to, I'll put him on I Broke the Bat. So, this is a Bane from the DC Nation shorts. Any of you remember these? Cartoon Network used to have DC Nation shorts because back then they had a ton of good DC cartoons, and there was the Batman of Shanghai. We got to see anime versions of Batman, Catwoman, and Bane. Yes, this was around when The Dark Knight Rises was still in theaters, and Bane appears as this mysterious, he's like a chauffeur. He's taking people around in chariots and carts, and we see he mutates into a giant hulking bear version of Bane, and has a fight against Batman and Catwoman in the Chinese art style. And yeah, it's a pretty cool short. I highly recommend checking this out. I believe it's free on YouTube. The Batman of Shanghai. Bane is one of the villains in it, and he fights Chinese Catwoman and Chinese Batman in a cool anime martial arts style fight scene. Lego Supervillains was pretty fun. Okay, I have to try that. I haven't played it yet. They made a reference Suicide Squad in the Lego Batman movie. Oh, reference. Yeah, they referenced that. No, who would... Having all the villains team up to save the world, that's just dumb. Batman Ninja next. Yeah, okay, we'll do him after. I thought this Bane was pretty fun. His spirit animal is like the bear. We see, like, through this trippy animation that we see them all, like, turn into animal spirits. Catwoman's a cat, of course. Batman's a bat. And Bane's, like, a huge grizzly bear, which I guess makes sense for his character. They, like, turn into spirit animals, have a cool final fight, and Batman ends up winning and stealing the scroll both Bane and Catwoman were after. And, yeah, it's pretty cool. I like him. He's a fine Bane. We'll put him on to I Broke the Bat. Recommend this short highly. It's free on YouTube. I'm very positive it is. But this Bane, really cool. It's just a fun short version. So we'll put him on to A tier. Next, we'll knock off Sumo Wrestler Bane. Yeah, Batman Ninja had Bane, and he's a sumo wrestler. I guess I'll put him on to I Broke the Bat as well. Yeah, so Batman Ninja, really weird and quirky movie. Bane shows up working for the Joker's clan. Bane is a sumo wrestler because we see all of Batman's heroes and villains reimagined in feudal Japan. And instead of being a strongman, he's a sumo wrestler Bane, still wearing the luchador mask, which is pretty funny. He tries to fight Batman, and Batman basically fights him in a good old-fashioned martial arts match. It's very funny reinterpretation of Bane as a big fat sumo wrestler. I think he still uses the Venom, but yeah, he just partakes in a badass anime duel with the Dark Knight, and of course Batman wins. Yeah, see, Christopher, we did sumo wrestler Bane. Unfortunately, he's just another stupid brute working for the other villains. This time, he's like working for the Joker's clan. Batman takes him out easily, but learns that all his villains have mastered the martial arts and ways of feudal Japan, and that he's falling behind. But Bane, pretty funny cameo. We'll put him on to I Broke the Bat. Alright, let's do... we should also knock off Batman Hush Bane. Yeah, Bane is the villain for the first act of Batman Hush, but not really. He's another character's bitch. I have to put him on to I Broke the Man. So, I do love the design of this Bane, and even the voice. Unfortunately, this is another downgraded Bane. This is the Bane in the first act of Batman Hush. Bane is the starter villain of the movie. We see New 52 Batman has returned to Gotham City after a lot of, mixed movies he's had over the years. Bruce Wayne returns to Gotham. Bane has abducted a child, has kind of taken Killer Croc's place from the actual Batman Hush comic. Bane has a child held hostage and is demanding $1 million. But of course, the Dark Knight's on the case and he fights Bane, and they do hilariously point out that something's off with Bane. Like Bane saying, "I'll kill you! Give me my money! You will die, Batman!" And Alfred's like, isn't Bane's voice usually more eloquent? And yeah, they realize Bane is being mind-controlled by Poison Ivy. Bane has been drugged and mesmerized by Poison Ivy's hypnotic kisses and is actually a puppet working for her. Bane is like the fall guy. Batman beats him up, finds out that he has a plant literally on him, and that Poison Ivy has both Bane and Catwoman serving her. Bane is taken out, he's taken to Arkham Asylum, but Amanda Waller's drugs weren't enough to tranquilize him. He breaks out and Batman, uses Bane as bait to find out what's going on. Bane nearly kills Catwoman, finds out that they were both brainwashed, but Batman recaptures him, and he's given to Amanda Waller to use in the Suicide Squad. Yeah, Bane is going to join the Suicide Squad, which we won't see pay off until Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Speaking of which, he returns in Apocalypse War. He has Kryptonite Venom, but it does him no good. He's killed by the Paradooms. Hi, did someone say Lego Batman? Hey, Blaze Hopper, you missed us talk about all the Lego Banes. Lego Bane from the original Batman isn't our first S tier. The Tom Hardy Lego Bane from the Lego Batman movie is in the mid tier. And unfortunately, I had to put Lego Supervillains Bane onto Bane Who, because I haven't played it yet. Nice fight of Sumo Bane versus Bat in a mech. Yeah, he uses the mech suit like from the Batman cartoon. Yeah, so this Bane, kind of mediocre, not well written. I do like the design, and the voice acting is pretty fine. He's a pretty funny, angry, shouting Bane, but he's not that important a character, and he's used as basically the scapegoat. He's the fall guy. It turns out he's being used by Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy stole the $1 million and was working with Hush all along. But yeah, Bane, going on to I Broke the Man. Hopefully next cartoon universe you'll be done better. Alright, so next we should bump off DC Universe Online Bane. Yeah, he's going on to Bane Who. I remember the DC Universe Online game. I've never actually played it, though. So this Bane, unfortunately, I have to go on to Bane Who. I remember, everyone from the DC Universe was in this online game, and Bane was one of them. Unfortunately, I never played it. Yeah, sorry, not gonna be talking a lot about the DC Universe Online. Is that website still online? I'm pretty sure it was like defunct now. It's like no longer operational or no longer available for live players. But yeah, DC Online Bane. He's going on to Bane who? Yeah, S tier Lego. Yep. What kind of Bane masks you like, Cat? Like one with mouths or the ones that hide all his features? I do like the Arkhamverse Bane mask, the one with the mouth, because he's allowed to talk more. I do not like Tom Hardy's mask because it makes him hard to understand. Alright, speaking of cameos, we should also get rid of maybe Assault on Arkham Bane. Yeah, this is the Bane from the animated Assault on Arkham. Assault on Arkham's a good movie. Unfortunately, this Bane going on to Bane Must Train. Why? Because he killed Killer Frost. Yeah, that is the biggest thing he does in the movie. Bane is one of the inmates at Arkham as the Suicide Squad infiltrates it, and when the Joker escapes, he causes a mass prison break, where we get a bunch of cameos from all the Arkham prisoners. Yeah, outside of Joker and Harley Quinn, we see Poison Ivy on the loose, Scarecrow on the loose, Two-Face on the loose, and Bane repowered and turned into Venom Bane again. He goes hulking out, killing people, and he's losing points because he accidentally murders Killer Frost. During the rampage, Bane picks up the police car, Killer Frost tries to jack it, and ends up accidentally killed by him. Yeah, I do not forgive him for that. They killed off Killer Frost, the best member of the Suicide Squad. And Batman eventually beats Bane by disabling his power cords, just like in the game. Yeah, it's a fun cameo, but that's about it. But I'm putting him down a level because he killed the hottest Suicide Squad girl. Gotham Bane next. Okay. Like the ones with no mouth and only red eyes. Those do look pretty creepy, though. I heard they're making a reboot of Underdog, the show from the 60s with the Superdog. They made a live-action Underdog before, I believe in the 2000s. Seriously, Peter Dinklage and Patrick Warburton were in it as the villains. Lego Killer Moth on S tier, definitely. No, my Ice Princess waifu. Yeah, that's why he's going down a level. He killed Killer Frost. She was the coolest character. Alright, let's talk about Gotham Bane, aka Commissioner Gordon's old war buddy, Ed Dorrance. Ed Dorrance. Yeah, it's a punny name. Yeah, this is Gotham Bane. So, Bane was kind of a question mark in Gotham. We were not sure he was ever going to actually show up. He's hinted at and alluded to. We see the Venom tubes, but Bane appeared in the final season, and I will put him on to I broke the bat. Yeah, he's going on to 8 here if you're curious. I broke the bat. Gotham Bane, pretty cool character. So, we get hints and allusions to Bane. We see the Venom drug does appear, but a bunch of lowly con artists and evil villain of the week are using it. Yeah, a villain of the week is using a prototype to the Venom drug. Commissioner Gordon defeats him. We're being teased that Bane exists in the Gotham universe, he's out there, he's doing something, and it isn't until the final season where Bane actually shows up. Bane appears as Commissioner Gordon's old war buddy, Eduardo Dorrance. Yeah, his name is Ed Dorrance, a pun off of endurance, because it's funny. He was cool. Hey yo, again on live action Underdog movie. I actually remember seeing it when I was little, when I was eating dessert pizza from Papa Murphy's. It was my exposure to Underdog. Ah, good for you. Yeah, this Bane was definitely a last-minute idea for the final season, and despite the final season's flaws, this version of Bane was a highlight. Yeah, that's why he's going on to 8 here. I thought it was interesting what they did with Bane. In Gotham, Bane was Commissioner Gordon's old war buddy. Gordon and Ed were basically partners in the military. However, Ed was captured in a POW at Penadora. He was taken hostage and thrown into the pit. Gordon believed he died, but he was actually saved by the Al Ghul family and recruited to work for the League of Assassins. Yes, it is an homage to Dark Knight Rises Bane, right down to the stupid gas mask. So, Bane is actually built up as a twist villain. He works with Commissioner Gordon. He comes in the final season. This is the no man's land arc. Yeah, Gotham has been completely conquered by supervillains and cut off from the rest of the world, exactly like in The Dark Knight Rises, but we actually get to see all of Gotham's supervillains on a rampage. All the villains are fighting for turf. Barbara Gordon has turf, Penguin has turf, Mr. Freeze has turf, Firefly has turf, the Scarecrow has turf and is robbing and looting people. Eduardo Durance comes in as the military man here to save the day, but we find out he's actually here to destroy Gotham City. He's here planning to bomb it all and is trying to pose as their fake hero. He is slowly conquering and taking away key areas away from the supervillains, and Gordon finds out they have a fight. Bane is believed to be killed, but the twist villain saves Bane and has him rebuilt into the ultimate powerhouse we know him as. Yeah, he's kind of a hybrid of the comic Bane. He does have the venom tubes put into him, but he has Tom Hardy's mask and a little bit of his motivation. Underdog's best dog. Yeah. So I agree, despite the final season's flaws, Bane was actually a pretty neat addition. Yeah, they do have Selina Kyle and Bruce actually tag team fight their first supervillain together. After a lot of will they, won't they romance and love drama, Selina Kyle, Catwoman, and Bruce Wayne both double team and fight Bane exactly like they should have in The Dark Knight Rises, and they defeat Bane with like a swarm of bats. We finally get to see the bat collar. All the bats are like called by this dog whistle thing they hook up to Bane. They swarm him and incapacitate him, and yeah, Bruce and Selina actually defeat their first supervillain. Who was it who rebuilt Bane? Well, once again, Bane is actually the hired goon of the real villain. It's Nyssa. Who? Nyssa Al Ghul. Yeah, Nyssa Al Ghul is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. She's coming in before Talia does. I guess so they could ship Talia with Bruce in the future. But yeah, Nyssa came to Gotham, hired Bane, and wants to destroy Gotham City and kill all their enemies because her father died. Ra's al Ghul was killed off by Barbara Gordon and Bruce, of all people. Ra's al Ghul died, and Nyssa and Bane are here to avenge Ra's al Ghul's death and finish his legacy by destroying Gotham City. Bane is beaten by Bruce and Selina in their first tag team fight, hinting at that Batcat romance, and they hook up together, only to awkwardly break up before the finale. Yeah, it's really stupid, but I thought Eduardo Durance, played by Shane West did a pretty good job. I do like his take on Bane. Bane posing as a fake ultimate hero trying to help them, only to turn out to be one of the most dangerous DC villains, was a pretty neat idea. So his costume was much better than Tom Hardy's. You could actually understand him. They do fix the gas mask problem. Unfortunately, he just came last minute. That's the big issue people have with him. Bane shows up in the final season when he probably should have shown up a lot earlier, but whatever. Also, I'm okay, I guess. Didn't find any cards in the swap meet, but I did play a little bit of Pokemon Crystal. Got both Muscle the Machop and Sally the Poliwag to level 20. Good for you, Saga. Instead of Talia, it's Nyssa Al Ghul. Yeah, that was definitely a weird choice. I guess because they wanted to keep the door open for Talia and Bruce's romance, and having a grown-ass version of Nyssa appear and be shipped with Bruce would have been awkward. Where's my Blaze Hopper turf? You gotta fight the other villains. Now trying to get to the others to level 20, specifically with Angel to Togepi, to get her ready to beat Whitney, the Goldenrod City gym leader. Speaking of dogs, you gotta do a tier list of the characters from Crypto the Super Dog Show, or a tier list version of Crypto from DC. Peak Crypto. Hopper, which one? Her actress is someone from Elizabeth Bathory from Fright Night 2013. All Cryptos are peak. Yeah, I'll be honest, this version of Nissa didn't do it for me. Not to mention her defeat was easy and runs off like a coward. Even CW's Arrow had a better version of Nissa. Yeah, my brother Wolf loved that version of Nissa, so this version of Nissa kind of a letdown. And yeah, we do just retread The Dark Knight Rises. Bane is working for Al Ghul's daughter, is actually the right-hand man to the real villain, and he does get a much more satisfying fight scene. He tries to fight younger Bruce and Selina, and it's their first actual tag team fight against a supervillain, which was one of the highlights of the final Gotham season. So I'll give Ed Durant's Bane an A. A for effort, not one of my favorite Banes, but definitely an interesting one. He's going on I Broke the Bat. Still, we might see much better S tier villains on future tier lists. Alright, final string of Banes. Let's knock off Justice League Doom Bane. Yep, Bane was in Justice League Doom, voiced by Carlos Alrazraqui, aka Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life. So, I love Justice League Doom. It's one of my favorite DC movies, and Bane honestly was pretty cool. I might have to give Justice League Doom Bane, I'll give him an A. Yeah, he's going on I Broke the Bat. Justice League Doom, underrated Justice League movie. It's pretty much a reunion to the DCAU actors. It's a love letter to everything Justice League. The Legion of Doom forms in this movie, and they invite the greatest enemies ever to unite and enact the ultimate plan to kill all their archenemies and superheroes, kill the Justice League. All the contingency plans Batman made were stolen, and the villain chosen to kill the Dark Knight is Bane. Yeah, kind of an interesting choice. Out of all the villains Batman's fought, they chose Bane. Carlos Alrazraqui voices Bane in this, and he does a pretty good job. He did such a great job that he'd come back in Batman vs. TMNT. Bane is recruited into the Legion of Doom alongside the Cheetah, Star Sapphire, Metallo, Malafalak, whatever his name is, and Vandal Savage, and Bane actually nearly succeeds at killing the Dark Knight. We do see Bane unmasked briefly in this. Bane lures Bruce into a trap, tells him that his parents' graves were grave robbed, their corpses are missing, and Bruce, in a complete moment of emotional vulnerability, is ambushed by Bane. Bane somehow knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman in this because he traps the Dark Knight in his own tomb. Where's my Lego Bane rap album? I'm getting Nightmare Room Book 1, Don't Forget Me from Amazon Prime Delivery. Hope you like it. Don't forget he voiced Ricochet in Mucha Lucha, if anyone remembers that show. Yes, I guess it makes sense he's another mass luchadore. I mean, Lego Batman said Bane is his arch nemesis. Okay, so I did like Bane. I was kind of hoping, though, we'd see the Riddler or Scarecrow because they're actual members of the Legion of Doom Council. But no, they got Bane. So, Batman is, like, completely vulnerable. He's pissed off. Who did this? Where are their bodies? And Bane reveals himself. He ambushes Bruce, knocks him out, and buries him alive. He locks him in the coffin next to Thomas Wayne's corpse, having Batman completely broken spiritually and mentally, buries Batman alive and leaves him for dead. Bruce is under there, but if you know the Batman, he never gives up, and Bruce actually claws his way out from underneath the graves. He's like buried alive. Always like punching up, using his keys to break through the coffin wood. Then digs himself up through 6 feet of dirt. Bane like left him a message taunting him, which feels more like Hugo Strange than Bane. But yeah, Batman tunnels out, and the Justice League are all saved from Batman's own contingency plans, leading to a final fight at the Legion of Doom HQ, where Batman defeats Bane in the most easy way possible, cutting off his venom tube. I do like that they made the venom red so it looks like blood. He's like bleeding all over the place, but no, it's his super drug. Batman beats Bane very easily. Didn't I bury you alive? That was your mistake. Really badass line. You could say Bruce and Bane is having the buried alive match in WWE. Yeah, I thought this Bane was alright. I'll give him an A because the movie is really cool and it did a lot of fun things with these villains, but As is, I do think he could have been done a little better. He's just not the main villain of the movie. Vandal Savage is actually the true mastermind, but they picked a lot of great characters for the Legion of Doom, and Bane was definitely one of them. I'll give him an A for effort. He's going on, I broke the bat. Alright, gotta use my first restroom break, but guys, cast your vote on who you want to see next. Only got a few Banes left, honestly. So, tell me who you guys want to chit-chat about next. I'll be right back. No, Bane, this time I break you. Hey, I'm back. Who'd you guys vote for? And for ending on a high note, Origins Bane for last. Oh yeah, that was a great Bane. Injustice Bane? Batman should have been angrier at him, absolutely, but Bruce has mastered his emotions. Alright, yeah, Origins Bane for last. Harley Quinn Bane. Ooh, Brave and the Bold Bane, because why not? I think we already did Brave and the Bold Bane. Yeah, he's already up here. Or Batman and TMNT Bane. Okay, a lot of different votes. I guess we'll have to go with Injustice Bane. We got both Injustice 1 and Injustice 2 Bane. Injustice 1 Bane going on to... If my computer overloads. Yeah, I'll put him on to S tier. Yeah, finally, another S tier Bane. Bane is in Injustice 1, a part of Superman's regime, I believe. Bane, voiced by Fred Tatasciore. He voiced Bane from the Arkham games, the first two anyway, and he reprises the role for Injustice Bane. Bane is actually really kick-ass and badass in this video game. He's a huge Hulk one. He's a mighty glacier type of fighter, a huge lumbering brute guy, and he has a lot of fancy moves. I do like that they kind of incorporate that Arkham Asylum is canon to this universe, because he does reference when Batman ran him over with the car. Yeah, he's definitely fun to play as. I'll put him on to S tier. I might as well put on Injustice 2 Bane also onto S tier. Really love the redesign he got. Like, this is a really cool looking Bane. Yeah, I know he's completely decked out in armor now, but I just find it cool. He looks cool. He wears the Tom Hardy mask now. Has all the Venom tubes applied to him. Fred Tatasciore also voices him on Injustice 2. It is kind of funny that Bane's one of the few characters who did come back for the sequel. I suspect he'll be back in Injustice 3 since Fred Tatasciore is kind of a mainstay voice. But yeah, he's pretty cool. Very fun to play as. Has the really brutal moves. And yes, he does do the backbreaker as his super move. Wonder Woman, why would Superman want you? He appreciates my talents. Yeah, badass line. Injustice 1 is bigger. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm putting him ahead. Injustice 1 Bane is much bigger. I guess they slimmed him down a little to make him easier to make him play as. He has like much more smoother game mechanics. Other than the huge hulking mass, Bane kind of has the same body type as Doomsday. There's like a bunch of Hulk bodies, or a bunch of average bodies, female bodies. So Injustice 2 got a lot more creative. They unfortunately slimmed him down, but I'm putting Injustice 1 Bane ahead because of how huge he was. Injustice 3 is even bigger. Is he going to appear in that? I'm curious to know if Bane is going to come back in the third game. I really hope Zatanna comes back. I love playing as Zatanna. Though, if you know me, my MVP is Catwoman. Grey DeLisle is Catwoman. And, wouldn't you know, she's also the character I'm best at playing. Yeah, I hope Injustice 3 turns out good, especially because Kevin Conroy is not coming back. Since he's kind of dead, who do you think is gonna play Batman in the Injustice 3? I hope it's Roger Craig Smith, but I'd be open to Troy Baker too, since I loved him on the Telltale games. Lego Bane will solo all of Injustice. Yeah, he was fun to play as on Lego, okay? So, yeah, in short, fun character to play as. He's part of Superman's regime, kick-ass villain for hire, does a lot of fancy super moves, and is one of the more brutal fighters, which is very befitting of his character. I'll put Injustice 1 Bane ahead just because he's supersized, compared to the more slimmed-down Tom Hardy Bane. I think they tried to make him look like one of his Rebirth counterparts, but yeah, we'll put him onto S tier. Both of them are pretty fun to play as. Yeah, if Injustice 3 comes out, I hope either Troy Baker or Roger Craig Smith for Batman. Yeah, those are my top choices. Kevin Conroy voiced Batman in both the first two Injustice games, because Kevin Conroy is a legend. Injustice gets a lot of the best voice talents for all the characters. Usually it's people who have played the characters before. They even got like Stephen Amell to play Arrow in one of the skins, which I love that. I bought that skin immediately because Arrow was cool back then. Kevin Conroy's Batman is an Injustice, but now that he's dead and Injustice 3 is still in development, makes me kind of curious who's gonna voice him now, since we do have to replace him, because Conroy's last ever movie was Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, I hope it's Troy Baker or Roger Craig Smith. Roger Craig Smith is a really badass Batman, but I wouldn't mind Troy Baker either because I loved him on the Telltale series and even Batman vs. TMNT. Speaking of which, let's do Batman vs. TMNT Bane. The Jaguaro Bane. Who? Yeah, I'm going on to I am Bane. If my computer ever loads up. I love Batman TMNT. This Bane, Mutant Bane, awesome. He is going up high. There we go, finally. Okay, so Bane is a part of the Arkham Asylum mutation prison break. I mentioned this in the last tier stream. Joker gets his hands on some mutagen in exchange for giving Ra's al Ghul and Shredder intel, where he mutates all of Arkham Asylum's inmates into mutant monsters. And Bane becomes a cat man. He turns into a Jaguar man. Sorry, I keep saying Jaguaro. Yeah, he's a Jaguar man. Turns into a big Wildcat wrestler. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Carlos El Razorqui voices Bane again. And I think he does a much more funner performance in this, where he tried to do a scary Bane. Here he does more psychotic bloodlust, like a Blood Knight Bane. He likes to fight. He fights Donatello and Batgirl during the Asylum breach. And Bane has one of the funniest scenes in the movie. He tries to do the backbreaker on Donatello, and he breaks his knee trying to break his shell. That is one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen. They really did great choices with the mutant transformations for the villains for the most part, absolutely. They're my favorite mammal. Jaguars are badass cats. Yep, they are. It kind of reminds me of the King from Tekken. He kind of does. Yeah, Bane's like a Jaguar man. He still has his like luchador mask, but now he's much more feral, fights like a cat, like a wild mountain lion. And the best scene ever, he tries to do the backbreaker on a Ninja Turtle, but Donnie hides inside his shell, and the shell is so strong it completely shatters his leg. Yeah, Bane accidentally takes himself out. It is so hilarious, and such a funny Ninja Turtles moment. That scene definitely feels like something from the Ninja Turtles. Either the 80s show or the 2012 show. It's hilarious. Yeah, Donnie actually beats him by doing nothing. He hides in his shell, and Bane breaks his own leg, and Batgirl just gives him the KO. Really funny, and yeah, definitely one of the good mutations. They did a lot of great mutations there. Like, Scarecrow turns into a crow that spreads fear gas. Poison Ivy turns into a giant plant girl, but she's stuck to the floor. Harley Quinn Hyena was really creepy. I did like the Joker Cobra. I know a lot of people didn't like him. And Batman becomes Man-Bat. Though I was kind of upset that the Mad Hatter didn't get to appear. In the comic, the Mad Hatter was also in the prison break, but he turned into like a bunny, and I guess that wasn't intimidating. The Mad Hatter as a karate kicking bunny mutant. Yeah, unfortunately that one didn't make it into the movie. Mad Hatter ended up being cut. I'm honestly kind of mixed about it because seeing a karate bunny might have felt weird. I heard a lot of people really wanted him because it could have been an homage to Usagi Yojimbo, the samurai bunny, but no. Anyways, Mutant Bane, yeah, he's one of the fun mutations. Going on to S tier. I think Troy Baker would be a good Batman in Injustice 3. Yeah, he definitely would be. Here's to looking forward if they do the Marvel with the TMNT as a sequel. They should. The turtle broke the Bane's knees. Yeah. You should play Hollow Knight. I heard it was good, but yeah. Okay, so Jaguar Bane going on to S tier. I am Bane. Okay, next we'll do... Yeah, let's do it. Harley Quinn Bane, who... unsurprisingly, if you watch the Harley Quinn show, is going on to S tier, if my computer will load. Yeah, we'll put him above Lego Bane, at least. So, Harley Quinn is an interesting show. It started out very good, and they actually made Bane one of my favorite characters. Yes, this is Harley Quinn Bane. Bane is... this lovable, doofy goofball. He's a total badass supervillain, but he's not very smart. He is the stupid brute Bane. He comes up with clever ideas and plans, but they're very short-sighted, and they made Bane one of the funniest characters in the show. He is like in my top 10 favorite Harley Quinn characters. They mock the hell out of Tom Hardy's Bane, but that's what makes him so funny. This was a funny, entertaining Bane. Yeah, Bane... he's kind of the Zoidberg. He's the Zoidberg of the Legion of Doom. Nobody likes him or respects him, but for some reason he gets a lot of privilege and a lot of voice in the villain council. Bane is the goofball on the Legion of Doom. He's the friend that nobody likes or respects, which is really funny. Like, all of the Batman's villains have comfy chairs, and why do I get stuck with the damn folding chair? Bane has like a crappy folding metal chair, while all of the bigwig Batman villains get the nice boss comfy chairs. That's kind of funny. Joker could have been a spider. That'd be creepier. I was thinking something a bit more like reptilian, or like a shark. Mad Hatter is the rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yeah, that would have been funny. Alice in Wonderland had a Mad Hatter and his friend was a rabbit, so combine them. You put him above Lego Bane? God, yeah, I'm sorry, this Bane is just so funny. Bane is the friend nobody respects or likes. He's the Zoidberg. Nobody treats him with respect. Nothing ever goes right for him. Suffers a lot of bad luck and drawbacks. Every time he has a moment where he gets to be mature and good, he is the butt of the joke a lot of times. I will destroy you, chair, and he like blows it up. I'm going to blow them up because they denied me my free smoothie. Yeah, they make fun of Tom Hardy's voice a lot, and Bane is hilarious. He is so funny in this show. He's easily the highlight of Harley Quinn, even in the bad seasons. Everything he says is really funny. He's always kooky, always crazy, really weird. He has like a lot of heart to him too. That Bane is actually a jerk with a heart of gold in this too. He's kind of a himbo version of Bane. He's big, he's strong, he can kick ass. He beats up Kite Man, who's obviously no match for him. He calls out the other villains and actually has a set of morals, which made him kind of interesting and fascinating as a character. During the No Man's Land arc, all the Batman villains are dividing up Gotham City, claiming land, and Bane gets a huge chunk of land. He turns into the Pit, and he hilariously has no respect from the other villains. All of them get the good chairs, and when Harley Quinn starts picking off the villains one by one, Mr. Freeze dies, Penguin dies, Riddler gets captured and incapacitated. It leads to Two-Face and Bane forcing the two to work together, and Two-Face finally gives Bane respect. He finally gets his big boy comfy chair, and he gives him the Pit, and Two-Face and Bane actually form a working alliance together, but Bane has that weird comedy club in the Pit. He's trying to be motivational towards his prisoners, which is all kinds of funny. He has like George Lopez entertaining in the Pit. Imagine a centipede Joker. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. At least this character is way more tolerable and better than Fred from HBO's Max's Velma. Yeah, a lot tolerable. As being the butt of the joke wise. This is because Bane is kind of a villain. Bane does show up at Kite Man and Poison Ivy's wedding. Yeah, this was the episode where I kind of stopped watching because I did not like how they did Kite Man there. Yeah, Poison Ivy eventually breaks up with Kite Man. Bane is one of the villains who goes on a rampage, and apparently Bane is going to therapy and trying to find himself. He quits the Legion of Doom, gives up on being a supervillain. Apparently Bane comes out as gay too in this show. Not sure why, but yeah, it leads to a ton of stupid penis jokes. And Bane is now on the Kite Man show. He's trying to get back to the people, and he becomes a bouncer at Kite Man's bar. And that's currently where Bane is at right now at the time of this video. He's working with Kite Man on the Kite Man show. Very glad he got promoted to a main character because Bane is so funny. He's comedic, he's goofy, every joke he says actually lands. He is one of the highlights of the show and in my top 10 favorite characters of that show. So of course he's going on to S tier. Again, where's my Blaze Hopper turf? Well, you gotta fight Two-Face and Riddler for it. Alright, who do we have left? Alright, we'll bump off DC Superhero Girls Bane. Yeah, Bane was in DC Superhero Girls. He was a one-shot villain. This Bane, I'm gonna put on to I Broke the Man. We'll put him under Animated Series Bane. Yes, Bane shows up in DC Superhero Girls in a wacky comedy episode. So, this is an episode actually about Barbara Gordon and her dad. Barbara is going to high school in this show, and Commissioner Gordon is a substitute teacher. Gordon takes a break from his job to substitute at high school and unintentionally embarrasses his daughter. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those episodes. He accidentally embarrasses Barbara, makes her look like a fool, makes her feel like a baby, humiliates her in front of her fellow peers. It's a wacky comedy episode. However, we find out that Gordon is actually undercover trying to find a supervillain. And that villain is Bane. Bane is going under the name Ed Durance again, and he's posing as the art teacher. Bane is the cool teacher. He helps inspire the kids to make art. And in reality, he's actually Bane. Bane is undercover as a teacher because he wants to steal the chemicals at local high schools to make his venom. Yes, that is the actual twist they use. Bane is stealing chemicals from high school science labs and art classes to make venom. Commissioner Gordon was actually deep undercover, and he finds out that the art teacher is Bane, leading to Barbara and her dad teaming up to fight the evil substitute teacher Bane. Bane gets his mask on and turns into Arkham Origins Bane. Again, where's my Blaze Hopper turf? And it's actually a pretty funny episode. Unfortunately, Bane is just used for this one episode. He's a one-shot villain, and a twist villain at that, but I think he was fine. I'll put him on to I Broke the Man. That's as high praise as we'll be giving him. He never came back because Season 3 of DC Superhero Girls got canned because the show's ratings were low, but pretty funny idea that Bane was a teacher posing as a high school substitute teacher. Yeah, he's going on to I Broke the Man. Next, don't recognize this Bane. Tell me who this Bane is next to Arkham Asylum Bane and Telltale Bane, because I almost recognize him, but I can't put my finger on it, or my paw. We'll do Young Justice Bane. Danny Trejo as Bane, who is going on I Broke the Bat. Yeah, another A tier Bane. I thought he was pretty alright. Unfortunately, he suffers a lack of screen time, but when he did have spotlight, he was pretty cool. Bane is in Young Justice, voiced by Danny Trejo, and I thought he was perfectly casted as this supervillain, because how have we not had Danny Trejo as Bane? He sounds like him, acts like him, and Young Justice drew him exactly like the comics. So Bane is used as a villain of the week in one of their mission episodes. The Young Justice team go to Santa Prisca. They find out that the cult Cobra is taking over Bane's island. Bane has been deposed of and has lost control of his Venom factory, leading to an uneasy alliance where Danny Trejo's Bane teams up with the Young Justice team. Yeah, they're pretty much the Teen Titans. The Titans and Bane work together to defeat Cobra. They're remanufacturing Venom into a whole new, more powerful drug, and Bane wants his control back. They took over his island, and he lost it to the Cobra cult leader. So, Danny Trejo does a pretty fine job as Bane. He gives him a very creepy, raspy voice. This is like a hardcore soldier version of Bane. He treats his men like they're his own cult. It's kind of a turf war between villains. Really fun story. And unsurprisingly, once they defeat the Cobra leader, Bane actually betrays them. Yeah, no duh, Bane betrays them. I'm feeling a bit explosive, and he plans to kill the Young Justice team. They fight, but Bane manages to get away, and we get our twist ending that Bane is actually in league with the Light. The Light are the Legion of Doom of this show, and he's like contacting one of his mysterious benefactors, telling them that Santa Prisca is now a part of the Legion of Doom's turf. Hey, Blaze Hopper, you left out. Yeah, Bane would make a few cameos. He appears in like the penultimate episode of season 1. They use his island as like a negotiating area. Bane gets into fight scenes, uses his venom tubes. Danny Trejo does a fine performance. Unfortunately, he wouldn't get a speaking role again until one of the revival seasons. He comes back when Batman forms the Outsiders. They're spying on the island, and we find out Bane is a part of the League of Assassins in this version. He's doing dealings and trades with Deathstroke. Deathstroke took control of the League of Assassins away from Ra's al Ghul, and we get to see a three-way fight. Batman and his Outsiders, Metamorpho and Katana, have a 3 versus 3 fight. Batman fights Bane, Metamorpho fights Slade, and Katana has a sexy cat fight with Lady Shiva. I really love Lady Shiva in the Young Justice show. Gwendolyn Yao did a really cool job. But yeah, Bane fights Batman, Danny Trejo gets to talk again, and we have a classic Batman versus Bane fight. They, of course, win and get away in the end, but Bane vows he'll be back, and we haven't seen him come back because Young Justice ended up canceled. Imagine a centipede villain. Oh, remember Kindred from Spider-Man? Okay, so Danny Trejo's Bane, I thought it was pretty cool. Pretty underrated villain. Unfortunately, he has a lack of spotlight, which is why he's not going on to S tier, but I'll put him on to I Broke the Bat. Alright, final 5. Let's go. Sorry, drinking my 500 waters. Let's do Robot Chicken Bane. That's Bane. Yeah, Robot Chicken Bane going on to S tier. Yeah, I'll put him under Jaguar Bane at least. Yes, this is Robot Chicken Bane. And yes, I did include this to have that funny gag. Bane just shows up, doesn't say anything, and breaks the Batman's back 4 times. He breaks Batman's back 4 times. He shows up, Batman's monitoring the city, and Seth Green Batman gets his back broken. I can't believe you just snuck up on me like that. You just walked right up and broke the Batman. That's Bane. Yeah, get used to that phrase. They do it in all his appearances. Then, Batman's in the Batcave, trying to heal from his broken back, talking to Robin, and Bane just walks right into the Batcave and breaks his back a second time. Yeah, it's kind of funny and hilarious because of how out of nowhere it is. But yeah, he breaks Batman a second time. Then Batman recovers, shows up at the Justice League Hall of Justice, giving this motivational speech about how he won't give up. He's never giving up and he's on the path to recovery. All the Justice League members clap for him. Then Bane walks up and breaks his back again for a 3rd time. Oh, you just stood there and did nothing. How could you not help me? And that's Bane. And then he shows up in one more time during the fight between the Justice League and the Legion of Doom. They're all having their epic fight, and Batman's like actually winning for once. Then Bane shows up out of nowhere to break his back all over again. Ah, rule of threes, guy! Rule of threes! Imagine a story with Bane and Deathstroke and Deadshot and Red Hood. Like all the characters who have full masks, they are all a part of the Suicide Squad. But yeah, it's a dumb joke, but a really funny dumb joke. Robot Chicken Bane going on to S tier for sure. Makes me laugh every time. Alright, final four. We should probably knock off Arkham Asylum Bane. Love me some Robot Chicken from the start to great stop motion for Adult Swim. Robot Chicken is awesome. Alright, Arkham Asylum Bane. Gonna hurt. Going on to Bane Must Train. I am not a fan of Arkham Asylum's Bane. Hope my computer will ever load up. Gotta wait for the page again. Sorry, guys. Okay, so Bane came in Arkham Asylum as a surprise boss fight. Bane isn't really a character in the first game. Arkham City gave him a lot more to do. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, put him on Bane Must Train. Sorry, guys, but I was not a huge fan of the Arkham vs. Bane up until a certain title we'll get to. But Arkham Asylum Bane, this is the Bane in the first two Arkham games, by the way, Asylum and City. Bane is technically not really a character. He shows up as a boss fight in Arkham Asylum. During your attempts to retake Arkham Asylum and save Commissioner Gordon, you find out Joker has something stored in the basement. Bane shows up entirely emaciated and starving, completely drained of all the venom in his body, and is kind of a husk corpse looking character. He's like being suspended up in midair with his venom tubes attached to this machine, and Joker reveals that Bane was a test subject they were using, and he injects him full of Titan venom. Yeah, Bane's kind of a plot point and a catalyst for a story in this episode. Joker wants to make a super drug to make Bane's super strength permanent. He's creating Titan. Titan is a much more potent and stronger version of Venom. It's not limited. It's not limited. It can last forever. It'll give you Bane's muscle, strength, and brutality pretty much 24/7, and they needed to use Bane as a test subject. They literally drained his entire body. We find out Bane was being experimented on by Dr. Young. Dr. Young's one of the doctors at Arkham Asylum, and this whole thing kind of kick-started off because she was manipulated by the Joker. She believed she was creating a mutagen that would help the military create super soldiers, basically, but Jack White was really the Joker using her all along. Bane was strapped to an operating table, and he's a surprise boss fight. Like, Joker, fuels him up with the Titan version of Venom, and he turns into a much bigger hulking mask, leading to the first actual supervillain boss fight. Arkham should have kept Bane as a cool villain. They should have, but unfortunately they didn't. So, Paul Dini wrote Arkham Asylum and City. He did a good job. He wrote very well, I will say. For a guy who never does video games often, Asylum and City are S-tier gaming masterpieces. Unfortunately, Paul Dini has openly proclaimed that he's not a fan of Bane, which is why he was not done very well in Asylum and City. He's kind of just a boss fight in Asylum. You beat him up, run him over with the Batmobile car, and that's the end of him. He shows up in a post-credit scene, only for him to come back in Arkham City, and Bane has kind of been dethroned as a villain. He's fallen on hard times. He is now addicted to finding the Titan. It turns out his post-credit scene is the canon one, I guess, because Bane is now trying to hunt down all the Titan crates. He needs the Titan back and works with Batman to destroy it. Yeah, in a really nice twist, Batman and Bane team up. They form an uneasy alliance, hunting down all the Titan canisters. A bunch of Titan was collected by supervillains, and it's here in Arkham City, and Bane needs help destroying them all. And this side quest is probably the most easiest of them all. You literally come across all the Titan barrels while exploring the campaign. Yeah, seriously, just follow the main story campaign, and you will literally find all the Titan barrels easy. They are, literally right in front of you. You can find them without much of a challenge. Arkham should have kept Bane as a cool villain. So, Fred Tatasciore voices Bane. He does fine, but it's basically his Hulk voice. Tatasciore also voices the Hulk. He's known for voicing brute characters, but I was not a big fan of this Bane, and Arkham City pretty much solidified that. It turns out Bane was actually taking the Titan all for himself. After you destroy all the canisters, Bane reveals that he was tricking Batman. He actually was taking it for himself and wanted to get rid of the competition. He wanted to be the only one with Titan. You and Bane actually have a tag team fight against either Tiger Guards or a bunch of Joker minions. Like, they want to confiscate the Titan, and Bane and Batman team up in a pretty fun idea for a back-to-back fight. You and Bane actually kick a bunch of henchmen down. However, Bane is anticlimactically defeated. Now, do me a favor, Batman, and die! He charges Batman, then gets locked in a cage. Yeah, that's how Bane goes out chronologically in Arkham City. He gets trapped in a cage, which apparently he can't break down with his hulking strength, and Batman destroys all the Titan canisters, and Bane basically goes out crying like a wuss, completely humiliated and defeated, and has none of his super steroids anymore. Yeah, Arkham should have kept Bane as a cool villain. I do like that they retcon that Bane used to be a top dog villain, and Arkham City is chronologically him at his lowest point, that Bane actually fell from grace as a supervillain. That it was a pretty good idea for a retcon, honestly. Unfortunately, Arkham Asylum / City Bane, not a big fan of. He's just the stupid, mindless brute he always is, and we would not see a good version of Bane until a later title, but we'll save that. That comes later. Love his reveal on Asylum after the stealth mission. Love the 3 villain reveals of the surviving Scarecrow, Bane, or Killer Croc on the Titan canister. Yeah, I think Bane and Scarecrows are most likely canon. Bane because him getting a Titan barrel is what happens in Arkham City. Scarecrow because he would be a villain in a later game, revealing that Scarecrow is alive. I prefer the Scarecrow twist ending because he's my favorite villain. Yeah, I wasn't that huge with Bane in Arkham Asylum since he's basically a one-and-done boss fight. Did have a decent side mission in Arkham City. Yeah, that too, but story-wise, they kind of made him go out like a wuss. Lego Bane, still better. Yeah, much better. Not a big fan of Asylum / City Bane. They kind of dumbed him down a lot. One and done in the first game. In the second game, he kind of goes out pathetically. He's begging, "Free me." No, Bane. And then him coming back in City was nice, but it's a side mission, not great. Yet kind of the easiest side mission too. You literally find the canisters playing the main campaign of Arkham City. Like seriously, you explore more of the city through the campaign, and boom, there's a canister. You can see it with your detective mode, or it's literally placed right in front of you like when you go to the subway. And when you get to the prequel of Origins, that's where Bane was peak for the Arkhamverse, absolutely. But that comes later. No, they should have made him a good guy. No, Bane was evil. Bane, now do me a favor and die! No! I knew I couldn't trust you, so I used you instead. What? Yeah, really pathetic defeat. Bane used to be one of Batman's deadliest foes, and Batman ends up using him like nothing. Yeah, I know Batman's a badass, but come on, Bane fell for that. Okay, I might need to get more water because we still have some fun Banes to talk about, but cast your vote who you want to see next. Final 3, let's go. Gonna get more to drink, BRB. Alright, Cat's back. Who are we ready to break next? Telltale Bane, So Cat, strange weather we're having today. Yeah, really strange. Telltale Games or the other one, I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get rid of this one first. I have to put him onto Bane Who. Yeah, I'm not remembering who this Bane is. I might not have seen him. He looks like he's from a DC Nation short. But yeah, sadly, this guy's gonna have to go on to Bane Who. But after that, let's do Telltale Bane. Yes, Bane is in Batman the Telltale series, the second season, The Enemy Within, a part of Harley Quinn's Legion of Doom, The Pact. And JB Blank actually returns to voice this Bane, which is why he's going on to S tier. Yep, he's going up here. Yeah, I will put him above Harley Quinn Bane. Yes, JB Blank, who voiced Bane in Arkham Origins, actually comes back to the role in the Telltale series, and I was very thrilled to see him come back. So originally he looks like Danny Trejo's version of Bane. Bane has like a mustache and a badass beard in this version. Bane is the brute on the Riddler's The Pact. Bane and Harley Quinn are both friends of the Riddler, but when the Riddler is assassinated, Harley Quinn and Bane get into a fight over leadership and kind of settle on being co-leaders. And I was so excited and thrilled to hear JB Blank actually returns to voice Bane in this game, pretty much carrying on the character right after Arkham Origins. Yeah, it's basically Arkham Origins Bane all over again. Bane has a much more minor use of venom. He actually like injects himself with like a venom shotgun thing. He like puts it in like an injection gun, juices up and becomes the unstoppable Bane. Bane is really cool. He's very threatening, very macho, has a very bizarre code of honor of his own. He is very distrustful of Bruce once Bruce joins the Pact. He's pretty much the asshole on the team. He doesn't trust anyone. He treats everyone like dirt. Bruce can potentially gain his respect or be seen as an enemy more and more. Bane is basically the one who suspects that there's a mole on the team. Bruce goes undercover, joins the Pact, pretends he's a supervillain like his mob boss dad. Bane very much does not fall for it. He thinks there's something up with Bruce, doesn't trust him. You can gain his trust or basically be seen as an enemy in his eyes. And I do like this choice. Like, you have to show some discipline to the troops and forces Bruce in a one-on-one fight with one of the henchmen accused of being a mole. And you actually get to break the guy's leg or show him mercy. If you show mercy, Bane's unimpressed. If you actually, like, kneecap him, then Bane shows Bruce a little more respect. Yeah, JB Blank to me is the definitive voice of Bane for me. He just nails his character in Origins and Enemy Within. He needs to voice Bane more times. Yeah, JB Blank is definitely my #1 Bane. He captures that voice and personality perfectly. He was so good that the Telltale cast actually rehired him to voice the character. And yeah, it was shocking because we never really see a lot of repeat performers as the villains on the Telltale games. Telltale actually did try to have whole new voice actors for everyone, but Bane, they actually got his Arkham voice actor to come back. His best Arkham voice actor, JB Blank. He is really cool. Bane is really macho, very arrogant, a total social Darwinist. Thinks might makes right. Basically, the iconic version of Bane. And yes, he does have a lot of cool boss fights. You fight him in basically kind of all the episodes. Episode 2, Episode 3, Episode 4, and potentially Episode 5, where he becomes Tom Hardy Bane. Yeah, Bane doesn't like the John Doe. He always laughs at him. Doesn't approve of Harley Quinn's leadership. They're both basically a Starscream trying to fight over command. You can either stop Bane or Harley Quinn from rampaging against Amanda Waller's agents. Whoever you choose is the one you end up saving, and they become the official Pact leader. Blank really captures the gravitas and menace of Bane. I do like that they changed his venom into like kind of an injection he gives himself. He like puts it into like this injector gun, roids up whenever he shoots himself, so you can actually have time to stop him from giving himself the supercharge. So eventually the Pact kind of falls apart. You fight Bane in a really epic boss fight. I do love that you finally give Bane his karma, finally beat him down. Use Mr. Freeze's gauntlet to freeze his arm, and he finally writhes in pain for once. You defeat Bane, and Amanda Waller takes him, and yeah, it's implied that he's going to be a part of the Suicide Squad. Like the 2D1 design was awesome. His design is awesome, though. Yeah, it is. Okay, you wanted Telltale Bane. Which choice you choose, Kat? Okay, so potentially Bane can either make his last appearance in episode 4 or 5. If you choose the vigilante Joker path, if you show John Doe kindness and mercy, then Joker becomes a vigilante, and this is the only ending that Bane appears in. Yeah, Bane appears in the vigilante path. He is not in the villain path. Bane never appears again, but Bane does appear in the vigilante path of episode 5. He's a part of Amanda Waller's Suicide Squad, and they finally give him the stupid Tom Hardy mask and give him his Venom injector pack. He's like wearing the test tubes all over his back, fully becomes the Arkham Origins Bane by this point, and he's basically a Suicide Squad goon working for Waller. I do like that he instantly tries to betray his handler, and it's pretty hilarious that you can save whoever Bane's charging, and his handler can get punk killed. No, we do this my way. I crush the bat. Bane, golly heck, you're the Dark Knight. Always hated that name. Which choice you choose, Kat? I do love Vigilante Joker a lot more because John Doe I just really care about. He's compassionate, he's friendly, and it's pretty interesting seeing the Joker trying to be the good guy. I usually choose Vigilante path. Villain path, if only because I want to see what happens in that path. But yeah, Bane shows up only in the Vigilante episode. If you choose the villain path, Bane stops appearing in episode 4. You basically beat him down and Amanda Waller takes him away. Here we see Waller converts all the prisoners into Suicide Squad members. She captures Bane, Harley Quinn, and Catwoman, forces you to fight, and I do love that Bane is the one who suffers the electro collar shock. It is kind of satisfying that during the fight against the Suicide Squad, Bane gets taken out by the shock collar, giving him so much pain. Pretty satisfying. But yeah, Amanda Waller ends up captured, and the Suicide Squad kind of gets pushed aside. They're shelved for next game, basically. Yeah, after John Doe blows up the building and abducts Amanda Waller, Bane stops appearing. Harley Quinn makes one more appearance where you take her down and knock her off her high horse. Bane stops appearing, and I believe that we would have seen a follow-up in Season 3. Bane's officially part of the Suicide Squad either way, so yeah. But love this Bane. I love the Telltale series, and JB Blank returning to the role is just icing on the cake. This Bane easily going on to S tier. Alright, but let's end this with the high note of all high notes, Arkham Origins Bane, JB Blank's first Bane, and easily my favorite. This Bane, number 1, easy. Yeah, Arkham Origins Bane is the peak definitive version of Bane. I love Arkham Origins, and they managed to make Bane one of my least favorite characters, one of the best characters of the game. Ah, Dexter, I always hated that name. Now for the peak Bane, the one and only Arkham Origins Bane of the Arkhamverse. Okay, so ending this on a high note, Arkham Origins Bane is fantastic. This is one of the greatest Banes I've ever seen. JB Blank voices Bane in this game. It was his first role before the Telltale Bane, and absolutely love him. Love the performance, love the redesign, love the writing behind him, and especially love the boss fight. The boss fight, I actually think, is better than Mr. Freeze's boss fight. He is that cool in this. So, this is a younger Bane. Bane is one of the 8 assassins hired to terminate the Dark Knight. The Black Mask, was really Joker in disguise, hires 8 assassins to kill Batman because he's aware Batman can ruin his plans. And Bane is one of the deadliest and smartest of these assassins. Bane is like introduced as this ultimate badass, and yes, he is a hybrid of his comic book version and Tom Hardy's Bane. And what makes him better than Tom Hardy is they got rid of the stupid mask, and you can actually hear him give his excellent monologues. Origins Bane is goated, absolutely. The back-breaking king. Yeah, Batman actually does get his back broken by Bane, but he's still fighting. I guess he only partially hurt his back. Yeah, this Bane, really awesome. We don't officially meet him until halfway through the game. Batman finds out that the assassins are having a meeting at the Royal Hotel, and that the Joker will be there. He's following like a tracer he planted on the Electrocutioner's gauntlets, and once we're there, we officially meet the other assassins. We see Firefly's there. Joker kills the Electrocutioner. Bane is completely unfazed, giving a Stonewall reaction to the Joker's wackiness. And Joker demands that they try to ramp up their attempts to kill the Dark Knight because they're failing him. And Bane takes no shit. He realizes that the Batman is on his way and that the Batman wants to beat up the Joker, that the Joker wants Batman dead because Batman is coming for him. It's like, move it along, big boy. No, he's coming here now. And when he does, I will kill him. So why don't you sit? He pushes the Joker aside. Bane pretty ballsy in this game. He is totally badass, gives no shits, no nonsense. He is totally out for blood. Hi, Cat. Hey, Akira. What a quotable character, yep. Sorry we're late. It's okay, Akira. We're on the best Bane right now, Arkham Origins Bane, who... really love him. This is a badass Bane. He is much more comic accurate than Paul Dini's version of Bane. He is addicted to the venom, is kind of a cult leader. We meet Bane actually has his own henchman in this version. Bane used to be the top dog villain, and this game really reinforces that. All his henchmen treat Bane like a cult leader. They see him as their big brother. They're willing to die for him in the cause. A lot of tributes to the Dark Knight Rises, we'll say. Basically, Joker and Bane are kind of the Nolanverse version of themselves. Joker's got a lot more Heath Ledger in him this time, and Bane has a lot of Tom Hardy in him. Like, cool, iCat, sorry, what did we miss? We're on Arkham Origins Bane. The coolest moment was when Bane ripped Batman out of the elevator. Yeah, that was awesome. Batman finally makes it to the top of the hotel. Bane is going into an elevator, and he senses that Batman is here. Batman is actually hiding stealthily, and Bane punches up through the elevator ceiling and yeets Batman down, beats him up, and throws him to the Joker. He was like ready to kill Batman then and there, but of course the Joker wants to play with him and gives him 1 minute. It literally takes 1 minute in this cutscene, which was pretty good by WB Montreal. Batman and Joker talk for a minute. He blows up a building, really an empty construction site, but Batman tries to beat and bludgeon the Joker, only for Bane to step in and be basically the real challenge of this game. Bane is pretty much the true final boss of this game. I know Joker has that final satisfying beatdown, but come on, this guy is pretty much the guy you have to beat down to get through to the real villain. Yeah, Bane actually waits 1 minute. That was actually really solid developing there. Hey, Bat-Kid. We're on Arkham Origins Bane. Hey, Bat-Kid Shinobi. Who's scarier, Batman's replacement Jason as Batman or Azrael as Batman? Might have to go with Azrael as Batman because Azrael is kind of unstable too. Yeah, Azrael. Like, he is cool. Like, my favorite is the animated series Bane and the one played by Mr. Crocker's actor, Carlos El Razorqui. Yeah, he made it down here onto A, and his Batman vs. TMNT Mutant Bane made it up on S tier. Azrael can fly. Yep, he can. Like, he is a Latino Batman villain. He is, which is why Tom Hardy's down a square. Okay, so this Bane has a lot of great going for him, and what helps is the writing and gameplay for him also very good. This Bane, easily one of the toughest boss fights of Arkham Origins. I actually love this boss fight more than Mr. Freeze. It is a full-blown mano-a-mano fist fight with the Dark Knight. They do his bull rush fighting. If he turns on his venom, he is unstoppable. You have to basically stay alive and dodge him, and yeah, getting hit by it feels like being hit by a train. And his boss fights always are epic scale. They feel fun, feel really fast paced, and Bane is pretty much an unstoppable force of nature in this game. Toot toot, here comes the Bane train. Yeah, I love Joker's commentary on that too. Fighting Bane, really challenging. You have to use the shot gloves to really give him a pounding. Use a lot of the super moves on him, highly recommend that. That's what really knocks down his health. Bane doesn't actually lose the first fight with Batman. Their fight's interrupted by the police, and Bane pretty much retreats because he doesn't want to be captured and overwhelmed. Bane leaves, he blows up the Joker. Joker goes falling to his death, and that leads to the pretty interesting scene where Batman saves him, and Joker gains a new will to live by seeing Batman as an archenemy. Bane gets away, but he's still on the loose, and Batman now thinks Bane is the higher threat, tries to hunt him down. Like, it's like Ben Reilly's suit of Batman suit, different and cool. Like, imagine he was Luz Nocita's evil uncle if that happened. Azrael's Batman suit was amazing. Yeah, it was. That's because when Bane broke Batman's back in the comic, Azrael became a horrifying Batman. Yeah, Nightfall, everyone loves that story. What do you think of Arkham Origins as a whole? Oh, it is awesome. Arkham Origins is easily one of my favorite games. Arkham Origins or Arkham City are kind of tied for first place on my Batman ranking. Depending on how I'm feeling, sometimes Origins is number one, but Arkham City has a lot of my favorite characters, so it kind of makes it up there. Arkham City has Catwoman, so I have to say Origins is my second favorite Batman game. Lots of the boss fights in Origins were well done. Origins has the best boss fights of the Arkham saga. Yeah, I'm gonna say it, Origins has the elite boss fights. I know Arkham City fans will be pissed, but they really stepped up their game in this one. Deathstroke's boss fight is mega hard. Bane's boss fight, really fun and hard. I love Firefly's boss fight. That one was a cinematic masterpiece in my mind. And Electrocutioner's boss fight, that guy, easily the best boss fight of every video game ever. Yeah, who doesn't love Electrocutioner's boss fights? Bane's fate in Batman Beyond is kind of pathetic, or poetic, yeah. Yeah, it was. Like he is cool, like why this tierless show have been saved for Mexican Independence Day. Sorry, I didn't really plan to do it. I for one love the prequel for the Dark Knight's early work as the Vigilante. Yeah, I love Arkham Origins. The story really surprised me. It was really good. I know there's some continuity errors, like Joker and Harley Quinn's first meeting is not like Mad Love, and some character fates are questionable. They do get some right, though, and Lady Shiva mysteriously disappearing in future games, kind of a question mark, but I thought Arkham Origins is a good game. It is a good Arkham game. It does not deserve any of the hate. Speaking of which, I do have to remind everyone that Bane is also an S tier because he actually succeeds at where other Banes failed. He found out who the Batman is. It turns out Batman has been studying his opponent greatly. Bane finds out Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he left a trap and a message for Bruce that he's going to destroy him at his own home base. And it leads to the big dramatic point of the story. Bane destroys the Batcave and almost kills Alfred. Yes, Alfred almost dies in Arkham Origins in a really powerful and great scene. Batman and Alfred had a fight before he leaves the Batcave. Alfred does not want Bruce to become Batman because he thinks he's wasting his life, thinks he's not a superhero. Batman wants to protect the city and points out that Gotham needs a hero, but they had a bad fight and Alfred returns beaten, bloodied, and almost dying. Bane found the Batcave, destroyed it, and basically crippled his enemy so he can't come and fight him, and has to basically face him now in a more weakened state without his gadgets, toys, and backup. And yeah, Alfred dying, easily one of the greatest scenes of the Arkham series. I love this scene. Bruce shows up at the completely wrecked Batcave, desperately tries to find Alfred. Batman actually breaks down and is sad, crying, and you save Alfred's life with the Electrocutioner gauntlets from something he said earlier about how it could jumpstart your heart. My favorite in Origins would be Deathstroke. Love the intense countering mano-a-mano fights. If only we had just an epic fight like that again instead of another tank fight in Arkham Knights. Yeah, Arkham Knight did Slade so dirty. Just like the Doc Ock for Spider-Man, if you will for Marvel, yeah. No, I kill Alfred. It's a big emotional point. Bruce realizes he can't save everyone, suffers a heroic blue screen of death, questions his life choices. Alfred is saved, but Bruce nearly gives up being Batman, and then we find out Joker and Bane are attacking Blackgate Prison, snapping Batman back into action. Batman realizes he can't do this alone, and Alfred finally tells his son he's proud of him and that he will back him up on his superhero crusade, realizing that the world does need a hero because Alfred suffered a supervillain attack firsthand by this point. And Bruce finally accepts help. He accepts help from Alfred, works with the police, and teams up with Commissioner Gordon to fight Joker and Bane. Bane helps Joker take over Blackgate Prison and shows up because he wants one final fight. Bane is now obsessed with breaking the Dark Knight, and he's technically the real final boss of the game, leading to that big gladiator fight scene. You fight him in the Joker's makeshift Coliseum. Bane actually dies. He's briefly killed by Batman with the electrocutioner gloves. Joker thinks he's won and runs off, only for Batman to reveal that Bane's still alive because he jumpstarts his heart, and Bane turns into the giant hulking monster we know all too well from Arkham Asylum. He takes an experimental TN1. Yes, this is a prototype of the Titan formula. And Bane decides that he's done playing games. Now he wants Batman dead and he's willing to do anything, turning him into the hulking Bane from Arkham Asylum. And conveniently, this kind of kills his intelligent mind. Bane completely loses his memories and identity and turns into a rampaging monster. And yeah, this is easily one of the hardest boss fights of the game too. Fighting Bane in his traditional boss fights, and then doing a stealth fight against Bane. Yeah, they were clearly trying to rehash the Mr. Freeze boss fight from Arkham City, where you have to really use your brain to think about how to attack the giant hulking Bane. Have to use a lot of grades. Bane starts realizing you're hiding in the vents and stuff. It is a pretty intense boss fight, and yes, it does get annoying on the New Game Plus mode. Believe me, I've replayed that multiple times. Also, I think Toro del Pierda is the Bane of Miraculous Ladybug since he is a Latino villain. Probably. Arkham Origins gets hate. Yeah, unfortunately it does. A lot of people did not like that. For those of you who don't know or are too young, Arkham Origins was a broken game upon release. It was glitchy, it was messy, had a lot of frame rate issues, a lot of screen freezes. It was very sloppy, I will say. Arkham Origins was basically unplayable for a few of the early releases. They eventually fixed this. There's now a patch. Recommend playing on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 5. They did eventually fix this. Now Origins is entirely playable, and honestly, it is a really good game. A lot of people are now appreciating it more. Some even loving it more than Arkham Knight, the official third Arkham title. But yeah, Origins got hate because, one, it was a prequel, two, the game was a mess, it was broken, it was glitchy, it was a total nightmare. I am so glad WB Montreal fixed this, because it ended up being one of my favorite games of all time. Also, no doggy Bane, sorry, not on here. Me seeing Batman Beyond Bane Fate, ironic, yeah, he deserved it. Though an intriguing idea of Sumo Bane, it kind of came out of nowhere and was sadly followed up and forgotten about. Yeah, that's why he only made it to Ace here. Fun idea, but he wasn't really a character. Also, I read that one. No, I kill Alfred for a deep dramatic scene of Bruce realizing he can't save everyone. I think he's Hispanic, except in the Nolan trilogy. Yeah, so Tom Hardy's clearly a white guy, but in the Nolan trilogy, he's supposed to be like Middle Eastern or Arabic. Yeah, it was a weird choice, but whatever, I got over it. You leave me no choice, Mr. Wayne. Yeah, here is when it becomes a horror movie and gets even more insane. Yeah, Origins even did the giant hulking Bane a lot scarier. He has like his tubes flying everywhere, is a giant deformed titan looking monster, constantly screaming and is pretty unstoppable. You have to use a lot of calculated stealth attacks to beat him up. Using the electrified fences to shock him is what really helps narrow down his health. Batman is eventually forced to electrocute Bane in a final confrontation. Kind of BS that Batman survives being pounded through a wall, but whatever. You finally fight Bane, and you use Deathstroke's grapple tool to connect him to a generator, which electrocutes him into unconsciousness. And Bane pretty much forgets everything, forgets his past, forgets who he is, forgets that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and that fixes that continuity error. But yeah, really badass Bane, easily the best boss fight ever, and it is very satisfying taking him down. JB Blank delivers an all-star powerful performance. I love his Bane voice. He is the definitive Bane to me as well. Like Bane died by Venom in Death Battle since they have no connections. Well, that's because Venom has the symbiote, and the symbiote is much stronger than the steroid. The Titan Bane in this very terrifying in the final level for first-time players. Absolutely. You do start to adapt to it if you play the game a lot more, like I do, but it's a pretty horror movie moment. Love that the Arkham games kind of feel like horror movies at times. So, Zombie Bane. Not entirely. I would say Mutant Bane. Arkham makes all its characters cool. Makes all its cool characters to losers like Deathstroke, bro. Let's soul load instantly after his debut. Yeah, Slade got screwed over hard in Arkham Knight. So, there actually is a story note on what happened to Bane. So, after Bane lost his mind, he became Arkham Asylum Bane. He's the rampaging, hulking monster. However, after his defeat in Arkham City, there's an unlockable backstory clip you can find when you're hunting all the Riddler trophies. It turns out Bane actually went back to his home country, Santa Prisca, and reconquered it. He kicked his addiction to Venom and freed his people from like their corrupt communist government, becoming a benevolent dictator. Bane is now saving his people and reforming his nation, deciding he wants to retire as a politician. And yeah, it's an unlockable story note you find if you scan around Arkham Knight's Gotham City. It's it's very easy to miss, but yeah, you find like a crate and it has all of Bane's old outfits. Scan it and you find out what happened to Bane at the end of the Arkham series. Like when you say Titan villain, you mean chemical like Titan blood. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's not Latino. El Toro is Spanish, the country. He's from South America, just to clear the air. Also, Bane has a sad origins, like who puts a baby in prison? Well, his nation is really horrible. Yeah, Bane had that teddy bear, which unfortunately got confiscated by the Arkham Asylum staff. Would be nice if Origins got a remaster to next-gen consoles, WB, just saying. Absolutely agree. Why hasn't Arkham Origins gotten a remaster yet? That's like one of the best games ever. Though honestly, replaying it, the graphics still look pretty cool. I would say the cutscenes have held up masterfully. The gameplay itself, that one's kind of iffy in some areas. The snow especially looks fake, but I would be totally in for a remaster of Arkham Origins. Absolute Bane is amazing. Like, why didn't Batman say no to drugs like Bane used drugs? Well, Bane is the bad guy, so him using drugs and turning him evil kind of helps people get away from drugs. Which Red Hood on the comics uses Bane's toxins? Bane was in Teen Titans Go. Yeah, briefly for a cameo. Yeah, I'm not sure why he got counted twice. I did not make this tier list, but yeah. New Batman Adventures Bane looks goth. Gothic Bane. Or is it punk? I thought he was like BDSM Bane. Like Harley Quinn Bane. I love that Bane. He was funny. Well, this was fun, Cat. Looking forward to the next tier list or the next review. Until next time, my friend. Bye, Christopher. Okay, so to wrap up, Arkham Origins Bane is easily The number one Bane. You are lying to yourselves if you do not think JB Blank's Arkham Origins Bane is the peak version of this character. Arkham Origins did the impossible. It made me love Bane. Well written, well designed, and well performed, and a fantastic boss fight to boot. He is the number one Bane. And that pretty much completes my tier list. Yep, we talked about every version of Bane so far. Will we do this tier list again? We'll see. But for now, this is my ranking on every Bane. Take a snapshot if you can't see. Got a lot of good Banes, honestly. A lot in S tier, A tier mostly, and only a few bad Banes in this bunch. But we'll go over it one last time for any of you late birds, or for those of you who skip click to the end to see the ranking in full. Like I hope we wait for the next tier list. What's your next tier list? Honestly, I don't know. I'm thinking about doing another horror franchise. For those of you who are hoping for Poison Ivy, I'm gonna wait on doing that one until Batman Aztec, since she's in that movie. And the Scarecrow will probably do around October. Yeah, I know, it's a long wait, but Scarecrow seems fitting for an October tier list. Alright, so let's go over the Bane ranking for any of you late birds. On the bottom, I break you. Worst is Batman and Robin Bane. Yeah, was there really any doubt? This is one of the worst incarnations of Bane ever. He has not been topped in terms of god-awful quality. Batman and Robin Bane, easily the worst. Followed up by the Teen Titans Go Banes. Yeah, it's Teen Titans Go, or any of you surprised. And Justice League Action Bane, who doesn't even show up in the actual show. All of them total failures, but the rock bottom has to go to Batman and Robin's Bane. Next, Bane who? I don't know any of these Banes. I don't know this guy. Never played DC Universe Online. Never played Lego Supervillains. I know I really should. I absolutely want to, but I'm waiting for a much lower price. And Batman Unlimited Bane. Never watched the other Unlimited movies, so all of these Banes I just don't recognize. They're not the worst. If you like them, that's fine, but I don't know anything about them. Next, Bane must train the weak Banes. Assault on Arkham Bane, who killed Killer Frost, so that automatically cost him points. The Batman Bane could have been so cool, but ended up very disappointing. Easily the most forgettable villain of the series. And Arkham Asylum, Arkham City Bane. He's a one-and-done boss fight in Asylum. His side mission in City was cool, but I do not like how pathetic he goes out by the end. Yeah, these Banes must train. I'd be there too, hopefully. He was in Batman and Robin. Yeah, he's Poison Ivy's henchman. My sister could see a Batgirl tier list. Yeah, that would be fun. Batgirl tier list sounds like what we might do next. Scarecrow, agreed. Thank you, Shadowlink. Yeah, Scarecrow feels like he'd fit for October. I know that's still a long ways away, but trust me, we're not out of tier list ideas yet. Alright, mid-tier Banes, the mediocre. I broke the man. Public Enemy's Bane, just a cameo. Brave and the Bold Bane, just a cameo. Lego Batman Bane, just a very minor character. DC Superhero Girls Bane, yeah, fun, one and done villain. Wish he got more, but he was funny for what he was. Batman the Animated Series Henry Silva Bane. Once again, kind of a villain of the week character. I think they did fine with his episode, but not one of my favorite interpretations of the character. And Batman Hush Bane. He was just Poison Ivy's puppet, and that was it. All of these mediocre Banes. But now let's get to the good stuff. I broke the Bat, the A-tier Banes. Sumo Wrestler Bane. Yeah, dumb fun idea. It's just a joke villain, but a very funny joke. The Batman of Shanghai Bane. Really cool design. Love the artwork for this guy. However, he's just kind of a non-character, basic villain threat, but a fun one. Carlos Alrazraqui's Justice League Doom Bane. Yeah, this Bane got close to killing Batman. He wins points for that. BDSM Bane from the Red Sky season. This Bane was really awesome in his final appearance on the show. Yeah, and he also got his comeuppance in Batman Beyond, so I'll give him credit. Much better than his debut episode. Danny Trejo, Young Justice Bane. Really wish this Bane got more screen time. He was awesome, he was cool, he was creepy, and he could take on Batman and Robin much better than he did in the actual Batman and Robin movie. Yeah, Danny Trejo should be Bane more often. Gotham Bane. Shane West did a pretty good job. Yeah, he's last minute, which is why he kind of lost points, and I do not like that he was working for Nissa Al Ghul, but they did pretty fun. He was fun, he was fine, he was a decent Bane. He was definitely one of the highlights of the final season, so I'll give him an A for effort. And Tom Hardy's Bane. I know there's going to be a lot of people pissed off he's not an S tier, but that really goofy voice and the fact that he's punk killed by Catwoman really left a bad taste in my mouth. But Tom Hardy definitely redeemed Bane in the eyes of the public, and I love that people take this villain seriously now thanks to him. So we'll give him the top A credit. Like, I hope we wait for next tier list. Yeah, probably gonna happen like next weekend or later this week. I want to work on some Halloween videos. Batgirl tier list. Yeah, that could work. I could see us doing that. Hopefully Kira and I can make it to the next tier list on time. Don't worry, there's gonna be more. I'll be there too, hopefully. Hope you are, Blaze Hopper. Yeah, he was in Batman and Robin. Like, my sister could see a Batgirl tier list. I could too. Or Marvel tier list, like Black Cat tier list, Ghost Rider, or She-Hulk tier list. I could get behind Black Cat and She-Hulk tier list. Ghost Rider, I have to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've not actually watched that, and I heard he's in it. What's the next tier list? Not sure yet. Might do Batgirl tier list, since people want that. That's our Lego Bane. Like, so cool. Sorry, catch him on comments. Danny Trejo needs to be Bane on James Gunn's DC. He should, but I think he might be too old now, since Bane has to be in peak physical perfection. Danny Trejo's like 80 now, so I don't think he will. Lego Batman characters ranked? Maybe. I'll have to replay it again. I really like Batman's Shanghai short, very creative. Would have wanted to see more of that version of Batman and Catwoman. You and me both, sister. Alright, finally, let's finish this with I Am Bane! The top Banes. Who are our greatest golden masked luchadores? Injustice Bane, yeah, both 1 and 2. He's fun to play on Injustice, really like him. Fred Tatty's score was much better on the fighting game than he was in Arkham Asylum. This Bane definitely fun to play as S tier. Robot Chicken Bane. That's Bane. Yeah, I know it's a joke, but a funny joke. Love Robot Chicken. And they made Bane one of the funniest running gags in their DC specials. He's gone on to S tier. Batman vs. TMNT Bane. Yep, love Jaguar Bane. Also has a hilarious joke in the movie where he breaks his legs trying to break Donatello's back, but he's in a turtle shell. Yeah, really funny Bane. Cool mutant monster. Carlos Alrazraqui really knocked it out of the park with this Bane, so going on to S tier. Lego Batman Bane. Yeah, Lego Batman's a classic kick-ass game, and they have a lot of fun versions of all the characters, just like the Arkham Saga. Going on to S tier. Harley Quinn Bane, easily one of the funniest characters of the show. I love him, he makes me laugh. He is in my top 3. Telltale Bane. It was so great hearing JB Blank back as Bane, and the game did a wonderful job making him a very deadly serious threat. Telltale Batman is awesome, and they actually made Bane just as awesome as he was in Arkham Origins. Speaking of which, number 1, Arkham Origins Bane. This is the GOAT, the peak Bane, the best Bane ever. JB Blank is now my definitive Bane because he delivered an excellent performance as the character, and Arkham Origins made Bane ultra badass in this series. This is the number 1 Mass Luchadore champion. He is my favorite Bane. Jaguar Bane, I see it, but when did he touch a Jaguar? Maybe it's like a necklace. Lego Bane, my goat. Glad you like him, Blaze Hopper. Don't worry, he's on S tier. Oh, a Deathstroke tier list could be fun. Yeah, we all know where Ron Perlman will end up. There's quite a lot of good versions of him. Yeah, I think you all know where Ron Perlman will end up. Like, Bane is cool, like he needs to have a solo movie. I like him fine having appearances on other Batman stuff. I heard Clayface is getting his own movie, so might have to hold off on doing Clayface until James Gunn's Clayface movie happens. Which Clayface do you think it will be, though? Matt Hagen, Basil Carlo, even Ethan Bennett? Yeah, kind of weird that Clayface is getting a movie, but I have to wait on doing the evil Clayman until we see what James Gunn cooks up. We need That's Bane for future review. Yeah, more DC stuff. Jaguar Bane. Yeah, when did he touch a Jaguar? I suppose he had like a necklace or something. What do you mean? We have Bane movie, like 3 movies with Tom Hardy and his trilogy with Venom. Also, Bane from Harley Quinn have a better father figure to Goldilocks. Yep. And bye. Bye, Kira. Though it makes more sense that praying mantis Ivy from the comics compared to the movie's decision. Yeah, they turned her into a joke. Who's Ron Perlman? Ron Perlman is only one of the greatest actors ever. He played Hellboy and he played Slade on Teen Titans. And I'll catch you Hoppers next time. Bye-bye, Hoppers. Bye, Blaze. Clayface here would be cool, agree. Evil Play-Doh Man. If they made a Bane movie, there's a high chance they will ruin his character. Yeah, probably will. Let's hope it's better than Joker 2. Hopefully, but I don't have much faith in seeing a Supergirl movie by James Gunn. But we'll see. Anyways, number 1 Bane is easily Arkham Origins Bane. Dead last Bane, Batman and Robin Bane, as if you didn't predict that. Take one last snapshot of my tier list. Thank you all for joining us. I do have videos up on Patreon. We did our top Treehouse of Horrors. Wolf has an anime review on there. A Tales from the Dark Side review is on there because it can't be played on YouTube. What will I do in the future? Might do a Batgirl tier list now that people in the comments are chanting for it. Love Barbara Gordon, and we might do the other Batgirls too, but we'll see if that's our tier list. A Batgirl tier list might be happening. Scarecrow, we're gonna save for October. I know a lot of people are upset, but yeah, we have to save the scariest villain for the scariest time of the year. Poison Ivy, holding off on her until Batman Aztec comes out. Yeah, she's in the movie, so I do have to judge it. And I'm not looking forward to seeing how she was done on CW's Batwoman. Yeah, Ivy's on that show, but thank you for joining us on the Bane tier list. I actually did want to do a ranking on this character and found out I do like a lot of incarnations of him. Bane's a fun character, and I hope to see JB Blank back in the role more often. See you all next time. Bye, everyone. Great video. Bye. Alright, so I'll set you guys free. My ultimate version of Clayface is Ethan Bennett. Yep, he's pretty cool. Alright, so thank you all for joining us. I'll set you guys free. Let's see what we do in the future. Likely a Batgirl tier list. I'm also going to be working on some spooktacular videos since I know you guys love those. But for now, let's wrap up this tier list and you guys can go free. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, or just tune in for more videos posted here on Wolf Entertainment. I'm your host, Catastrophe, and I hope to see you all next time. Same cat time, same cat channel.